Holy shit, Phil. The detractors.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil. Your detractors.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil. Do you hear yourself right now?
They were right.
Like, we totally fucked him.
Oh, fuck all that noise. Get you a bottle of gin from Total Wine. Fire up your TV. Drink your gin. Drink your gin. Consequences have actions, Pep. Here's what you gotta do. Drink your gin. Drink a Pepsi later on. Play your fucking WB champions. Consequences have actions, Pep.
Holy shit, Phil. The detractors.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil. Your detractors.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil. Do you hear yourself right now?
They were right.
Like, we totally fucked him. Stop being a fucking victim. You fucking bitch. You fucking asshole. Own your shit. Own your shit. Own it. Holy shit, Phil. The detractors.
They were right.
Bitch. Holy shit, Phil. Your detractors.
They were right.
Bitch. Holy shit, Phil. Do you hear yourself, bitch?
They were right.
Like, we totally fucked him. You're still on mission 1. No, I'm not gonna let you lie. I know you're lying. I'm gonna pick on you. I know you're lying. Being dishonest and begging for money and people wanting justice. He is not a real person. He is not genuine. He is not honest. He's a scammer. I just see a scammer.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil. The detractors.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil. Your detractors.
They were right.
Holy shit, Phil. I just see a scammer. Begging. Like, we totally fucked him. Alright, I'm done. I'm done. I understand everything now. I know why there's this hate wave on him, and it's been on him for years. It's because of this bullshit.
American Mall.
That being said,
Hello. This is Phil Burnell. All right. And just wanted to tell you that I love the podcast. That being said, big ups. That being said, which vest is podcast best? That being said, relaxing, chill, interactive, fun. That being said, which vest is podcast best? That being said, one of my mannerisms. Relaxing, chill, interactive, fun. Team Insider, the legend. Fantastic Mr. Sam, the dentist. Speak to the dead. Psychological style host. Meerkat. Artistic style host. That being said, which vest is podcast best? That being said, which vest is podcast best?
If there was ever meaningful content, it's being produced right here on That Being Said.
Oh my God, hilarious. Oh my God, it's hilarious. What's up, everybody? As you can see, can it be more full of legends here as we are now? What the fuck? We got the legend, Stephen Cambian from Truth Seekers. Hello, sir.
Hey, good to be here, but morning show, really, fuck.
For you, maybe. We got the one and only Broside Phil. Hello, sir.
How goes it?
This is your second or third appearance, I believe, Broside? Second?
Second.
No? Second, yeah, there we go. We also have fantastic Mr. Sam. Hello, sir.
Hello.
A burger.
Oh, bonus. Stephen the Dead here. Hello.
Hello.
And we have Meerkat. Hello, Meerkat.
Hello, world.
Nice. It is nice to have you with us here today, everybody. I do have to start with an apology to Stephen Camion. I don't know if you know this, sir, but there was a time when I wasn't sure. I wasn't familiar with your game. And I thought you were someone I thought you were someone that was a UFO grifter, and I was not. I was extremely misinformed.
No, it's fine. A lot of people make that. Actually, the best way to describe me is I am the most hated guy in UFO land because I just basically, my show is basically just busting all of the UFO fraudsters, New Age scammers, fake psychics, psychic healers, and we really bust a lot of their grifts. And so, consequently, I'm not very well liked in that area.
Yes.
You know.
Okay.
But I started my show kind of like a true believer, almost. You know, there was a time when you couldn't convince me that a lot of it wasn't real, and eventually, just organically, I was like, wait, you know. One of the early things was that there was a guy running around claiming that he was former Air Force, and he would show and so his whole story is like, oh, I was at this Air Force base and I met these aliens. But then and this guy worked conventions. By the way, he still works UFO conventions, and he said something that like made a light bulb go off. Like, wait a minute. And so I went to the National Personnel Records Center, and I found out he'd never even been in the Air Force. And then I was like horrified, because one time I paid something like $500 for some weekend convention, and he was one of the speakers. So I go to the organizer and I go, you know, he's getting up on a stage saying, when I was in the Air Force, did you ever check? And they were like, no. So then I kind of figured out that, like, nobody checks on anything anybody says. So I started checking into these guys. And it got crazy from there. It turns out that, most of them are grifters, you know? And scammers. So I just started busting and felting them all. And it's been fun ever since. And it's kind of funny, like, that. You know, there's unwritten rule in that subculture. Like, you don't, you know, like, one grifter won't call out another grifter, even if they know they're all fake. It's all LARPing and playing along. Like, well, you be the super soldier, and I'll be the alien abductee, and I'll be the alien contactee, and I'll be the star seed. You know, it's all stupid. And so they really didn't like me. I just kind of took my place at the table. Like, I didn't ask for it, and now they have to deal with me. You know?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so you are no longer Kylo Dent. I definitely apologize for that. You are Kylo King now.
No,
okay, Kylo
it's okay.
King.
And you know what? King. It's always better to be underestimated. Like, leading up to this interview, people were saying all kinds of stuff to me. Like, oh, you're just going to glaze them and you're just going to give them soft. I'm like, do you know who I am? Have you seen what I do? Like, there's no. Okay, all right. And I just kind of let it go. Like, I didn't say too much, but I did. In my defense, I have to say, like, Phil, there's this whole, he snaked me and I didn't know this was what it's going to be. Dude, I put him with a target behind his head on the first graphic.
Sorry, hold on. Let's slow down the story here, because I want to know how. Let's get to the storyline here. So, obviously, you were been on the Keno Casino show many times, and you know, you were just a normal guest on that show.
I love those guys. I love those guys, by the way. Somebody told me, you know, people are always like, you should, and so many people said, oh, you should go on this Keno show, but majorly one viewer who watches the casino and me, and I just tuned in and saw all these crazy costumes that they were doing, like Cat in the Hat and shit, and I was like, I'm in. I'm messaging you. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so
I love those guys.
So you got in there, and then now, how did this interview come to be? Now, I'm going to ask a lot of tough questions today. Was this interview your idea, or was it Triple P? I call him Triple P's idea.
No. It was definitely my idea, because here's what happened. I really put my foot in my mouth on that one show where we talked about Phil, and this is, you know, like, I'm not very familiar with that sector and all this local stuff, so I wasn't up on what was going on, and they brought up Dark Side Phil, and I started clowning on him, like, what a grifter, what a beggar, and I didn't know that Triple P started that show with him. So Andy's kind of trying to shut me down, but then Triple P, being the showman that he is like, no, tell us what your favorite grift is. And then, you know, and we kind of clowned on him, and everybody clipped it. And then after that, I said to him, I go, you know, I started watching those deep dives about him on YouTube. There's so many of them. And I said, I said to Triple P, I said, regardless of what I think of him, this guy is interesting. Like, I'd love to interview this guy.
Okay.
And then Triple P said, oh, I think I can hook that up. And I said, do it. Yeah, get him, you know?
Okay. So then we start.
That's kind of how. So I asked for it.
Okay, it was your idea in the first place, and then that happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so then obviously go ahead, Meerkat.
Question.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
yeah, you just said how you all clowned on Phil and it was very fun. But then why do you think that Phil likes those guys when they constantly clown on him? And they
Well,
make
I
fun of him?
think it's a matter of survival. Like, nobody can deny that he was really in the gutter before he hooked back up with them, and they started kind of like this. I don't know. I don't know what else to call it. I call it like the Dark Side Phil redemption arc. You know, like they came in and they were like, "Oh no, Phil, he's great," and they kind of like, I don't even know. To be very look, I'm going to be totally honest. I don't even know if they're serious or joking sometimes. You know, like they say, like, "Oh no, Phil's a great guy. He's great at scamming his viewers. We love him." They're like, "What do you do with that? Are they serious that they really respect him for the hustle of grifting and scamming his audience, or are they just joking?" And they do, you know.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
You know, yeah.
So this interview gets dropped.
I don't know.
So this interview gets dropped. I mean, the idea of this interview happens, and you're going back and forth with Philip. Okay, so
and I have to be honest. I did glaze him in the message because I'm not
obviously
stupid. Like I knew, like if I go, listen, you're going to come on here, and I'm going to hit you with all the evidence that I research.
Yeah,
because and one of the things I was thinking is. I was Triple P last night said, "Oh, the detractors got to Steve." No, I got to the detractors. When I'm researching him, I'm going through some of these detractor streams and detractor shorts, and I'm going, these guys have so many receipts. They have evidence for everything that they're saying, and all this guy has is denials. So I knew if I tell him, look, I'm going to hit you with all this stuff. And in the back of my head, I was going, it's a shame that none of these, some of these detractors that did all this work to prove what a scumbag he is, don't get to talk to him and confront him. So I decided I'm going to do it for them. You know, like I'll be the voice of all these guys. And it's just kind of crazy. So I did kind of, and look, in my defense, we did talk about his early pioneering for about 10 minutes, like.
You let him talk.
Yeah, well, it's kind of my style. I did this. I call it front loading. Like, you can't. As soon as the guest comes on, you can't just start yelling at them and calling them a scumbag and grifter. So I kind of front load with a couple of softballs and build a little bit of rapport. But a lot of people were concerned that he was going to drop, so it was kind of it was a tightrope. Like, how long do I keep being nice before I just start unloading all this? Because and by the way, I didn't get through a quarter of the stuff that I wanted to show him and get his reaction to because he talked in circles too much. Yeah,
So obviously you were inundated with detractor messages. I'm sure you probably had 100 people talking about you. When did the strategy?
I got 150 or 200 DMs. Yes. Yeah.
So when did you decide? Okay, well, the bro side. How did you enter that? Were you also one of those people that DM'd him with stuff to talk about?
Yeah. So it's actually kind of funny. I didn't start by DMing Steven because Steven he had his profile locked down to only people who he followed could message him.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know anything about it. So the next best thing was, look, I'm not prominent. I mean, you could argue that I have some existence or in the detractor community, but I don't consider myself a heavy hitter. So I was like, there's a chance this guy has no idea who I am or that he's ever going to look at my channel. So I was like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to send my FOIA video to Triple P.
Yes.
And I'm just going to say, look, man, if you want to give this to Steve, you can. Triple P came back to me and said, send this to Steve. Steve is absolutely going to felt Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And by the way, this is the first that I hear of it. And Phil said, "Listen, Triple P is saying all this stuff, and I don't know what to say about all of this drama that's going on because I didn't tell anybody that. First of all, Triple P knows what I do, so maybe that's it. He knows what I do. And in my defense, like you don't throw like fresh meat in front of a ravenous wolf and then tell him not to eat. Like, So I kind of feel like Triple P, he had to know. But I will say in his defense, me and Triple P never discussed the interview or what it would be like or anything. So maybe he just took that message I gave Phil, and maybe Triple P thought because of the relationship we have, I don't want to damage him. And by the way, I had already found Broside Phil's video, and it was a light bulb moment because I started going through Pig Pig Go and doing keyword searches from the bank leaks, and I was matching things up. And then I found Broside's Phil video. I had a mental note: go through the haircuts, find when he said haircuts, and I got his video, and he had already matched 8 of them. And so, but I did check his work to make sure it was right. And then I said, this guy's a good researcher because I just recreated all of his research is right. Every time Phil said haircut, it's on the bank leaks, you know? Great research.
Yeah, definitely. So that, go ahead, Brickett.
I can see as you're speaking that you understand how much fun it is to troll DSP by doing these fucking investigations. Because one of the big reasons he has such a wide amount of people hating on him is because he's so fucking pathetic and he's such a bitch about everything that people want to spite him and prove that he's wrong about something. So people of all shapes and sizes, of all backgrounds, like we have here, Broside Phil's former police person, they just use their skill set to dunk on Phil and do their own investigation and make sure
fun.
that he shit. Yeah.
And people love gotcha. In my experience with my show, I will do 8 hours of work to get one really good gotcha. Do you know what I mean? Like one really good gotcha. You know, sometimes I'm doing FOIA requests and going to like checking somebody's military records or credentials. That takes forever. But to me, it's worth it because in my experience, the audience loves that gotcha, especially when it's definitive. Like I gotcha, bitch. You know, so that Dark Side feels like that. And, you know, one of the things that was so striking to me, you know, I'm just interested in internet culture, I guess, you know. So one of the things that's so striking to me is that the people that are dogging on him or felting him or busting his balls have a bigger audience than him.
Well, that's not even close. Yeah.
He does this decompression podcast. He gets 315 viewers. and then I look on your show, and you guys are getting 1,500 live viewers.
Yeah.
He can't crack 500 live viewers. You're getting 1,500 to clown on him. It's crazy. This whole thing is crazy.
The only time he ever does is when there's some sort of drama involved, when you know there's going to be something, you know. Yep. So I guess the decompression stream was actually probably a good one for him.
And this prick he sat there after I gave him the e-begging talk, like maybe you should calm down on that. He e-begged before he would talk about the interview. Like he said, I should get some super chats before this. And then he doubled, I think he doubled his goals. Somebody told me this, it may not be accurate. But in the last day or two after this interview, he doubled his goals, and then that was still not enough money for him. And he's still sulking and having a pity party. And he's telling people, send a super chat. Don't you want to see Stephen Cambion cry instead of laugh at me? Like he's
a black hole.
He's a shameless grifter. He's shameless.
Back when he was doing the memberships, man, it was he was monitoring the memberships before the Argentinian arc. I don't know if you know about this, Steve, but he just used to have the counter down there, and it would say, you know, I've got 380 of 390 memberships. Yep. And it was like, cool. And they hit 390, and it was like, damn, all right, he hit 390. He hit his goal, you know, cringe clap. Yay. What do we get for this? What do you get?
No, he hides it. He makes it 450,
No, he doesn't hide it. He goes, guys, we hit the goal. That is great. Now the goal's 400. Well, why
is the goal 400? Do this? He said, "What a stupid vest thing! Like, if I get $100, we'll do the vest." And then somebody in one shot sent him $100 super chat, and then he said, "I didn't say 100. I said 150." You're like, dude, what a shameless grifter you are.
Well, that's just everyday business for DSP.
Have you seen Steve, have you seen him play Call of Duty?
It's so
what
bad.
The bounties are?
No, but one thing I've noticed about him, and I have to admit, I'm not much of a gamer. My son is a big gamer. You know, so my view of gaming comes from him. And he's great at games. But one of the things I've noticed is every time he sucks at a game, he blames the controller. He blames like the internet lag. Like, look, sometimes you just get fragged on Call of Duty. It's okay, right? But he never. It's every time he gets killed or something, it's like, oh, this controller is uneven. The buttons are weird. Or
It doesn't even need to be. It doesn't even need to be when he's been killed. It's like the moment he first hit. You know, round one, start, takes a hit. Couldn't control it. Get cheated.
Not even Black Ops 6. There was something he was opening one time, and like the tape or the packaging was too much. And this asshole says stuff like, "This is just my life."
Water bottle, yeah.
Send me some donos. I can't even open this goddamn game. Send me some donos.
The whole thing with the mic arms and the fucking calling people nerds.
Water bottle. They filled the water bottle up too much.
Yeah, the people at the factory.
Oh my god. Yeah, I lost my shit.
Legendary Kick Chat band name, by the way, was a water bottle overfilled by factory reel. Very good, very good, very good.
The thing though, man, he's a variety streamer. Like, he can't be expected to be anywhere near. Like, he can't be the best at every game. So we understand. You don't need to make excuses every time you die or whatever. You know, we get it. But
we got a few.
I don't understand that. Like, you just look. I've played games, and sometimes you just get fragged or whatever. That's one of the reasons I don't really like online games, because I was playing them for a little while. You know, my son gets this PlayStation, and I hadn't had a console since Xbox 360, so I played like Call of Duty online, and like I couldn't take it because there was like 10-year-olds like, gotcha, bitch, and I'm like just terrible at this game, and I started raging, and I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. I'm getting my ass beat by some 10-year-old in like Duluth, Iowa, you know.
And I think I could deal with the. Sorry, I think I could deal with the rage. Yeah, the whole, man, this fucking sucks. I could deal with that. What I have a hard time with is when he says things like, this is fucking bullshit. Then he looks over and goes, now guys, here I am suffering through this game. I'm having a bad time, and I'm not even getting anything for it. So, oh my God, how are you real?
All right, so I want to make sure I want to move through a few points in the interview here. Let's just talk about it, get your thoughts on this. So, of course, like you said, you started nice. You got to do that, right? If you start nice, blow smoke up his ass, he's going to give you better, more time at least to answer things. But then you went, which I thought was really bold, just said, boom, are you autistic? I was like, whoa, okay. Like, was that the plan?
A lot of people were like saying that, or a few people were like, "Oh man, you kind of called him the R word." No, people aren't aware. I have a nonverbal autistic son, and he's what would be considered low functioning, or very affected by autism. He can't speak, or he barely speaks, so he's very affected by autism. But because of that, I've been around a lot of autistic people and children, and he strikes me as having autism because he's got a lot of the classic signs, like he doesn't understand social norms and social cues.
Oh, like God, no. God, Steve knows about that.
Well, the typical example would be that I think it's a social norm. Like, you're a show host. You ask for support like once, maybe twice during the show. Some people don't even do that. But if they're I found them, payday. I gotta get some of them. I gotta get some of them. Great prop. So some people don't even do. The most successful guys I've noticed don't even ask for it. They just get it because their content is good and people want to support them. But when I saw this, you guys will have to help me because the name escapes me right. But there's a whole channel that just counts as begging.
Yeah, Franny. Shout out to Franny.
Oh, and by the way, I do want to clear something up. This thing has been so surreal for me. I couldn't sleep after that interview because it was like a big adrenaline bomb.
Yeah, obviously, that'd be tough.
Trying to sleep, and then people are texting me, and I go look. I look on YouTube, and there was some girl with a hot voice. I don't know her name off the head, but she was doing commentary over the interview. And she was saying that like I was disparaging that channel because I said all he does is clip. I meant it in a complimentary way. Like, he just takes your begging and he jams it all together, and it's funny. That is awesome. When I found that, I got a clicker. I was like, "There's no way this is real." He couldn't beg for money 111 times in one stream. So I went through one of those videos with a clicker, and I was like, "Jesus, this guy's right." I went through like 2 of the videos. It's crazy that he doesn't understand that that's way too much, and that is like frowned upon, or like it's a social faux pas. He's his own worst enemy with some of that. So I really think he's on the spectrum. I really think he is.
I love that you use that to sort of like make him think, okay, we've moved on from that now. I don't need to worry about that anymore. And then immediately cycled it back around by going, do you not recognize that this is a social cue you're not picking up on? It was fucking genius. But I really have to bring this up because when you asked him, have you ever been tested? He goes, well, when I was a kid, people didn't talk about that. That wasn't the thing when I was a kid and all that.
He could get tested as an adult.
I don't think he realized. I don't think he knows that. I think he genuinely thinks the only time you could be tested for it is as a child.
Well, I'm no expert, I only know from my own experience being around so many autistic people. He's at least what they used to call Asperger's, which means very high functioning autistic, but has a problem with the social aspect of interacting with people, and and the same kind of thing. Like he goes off in a rage with the least little bit of criticism. That's not normal. That's not. People come in my chat and they say all kinds of shit. I say it's part of the show. You can come in and call me a cocksucker. I don't care. It's funny. It's part of the show. And then the chat will dog on them, and he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
He really doesn't get it.
Sam, you want to say something, right?
Just quickly on what you were saying about the girl restreaming you or commenting on your stream was just she was probably meant that you were disparaging about what he was saying. It was probably literally you just saying, like about Frawny that what was it? You said it's a little obsessive.
She said that's not all he does. He does great editing. I just wanted to say I'm sorry if the perception was that I was saying all he does, like disparagingly. Yeah. I meant it like to Phil, like all he does is take your shit and clip it together and it's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
And, I love that guy's channel. That guy's channel is awesome. It's funny.
Even if it was slightly disparaging, you can't expect to build an amount of rapport by showing up someone's channel and just being like, look at this guy, he's got your number, you're a fucking dumbass.
Yeah. Even if it was, I didn't really find it amusing. Yes, I did, but I didn't want to dog on Phil too hard. I found it extremely amusing.
All I was going to say just quickly was like the point she was, I'm guessing, making was that you can't give him an inch because he'll take that as a win. Is what I'm assuming.
Oh no, she was more or less complimentary. It was fun. It was surreal to me watching that because for years I've done commentary over other people's shows, and this is probably maybe the second time, but in the UFO subculture, great. 100 viewers are watching somebody do commentary. It didn't hit like this, and so it was just surreal for me to tune in and it wasn't just her. There was all these channels watching it and doing commentary. It was like, Jesus, I think I just leveled up weirdly. Like now I'm the one that people are doing the commentary. It's weird. It was surreal to me.
So then you went from the autism, you went to the amount of people that he's begged. That was kind of funny when he said he's begged 1,200 people or whatever, and Philip was like, they're all bots. So okay, really cool. Interesting. It's very true.
By the way, I got a ton of messages from people. People were sending me even screenshots of them sending him super chats or buying memberships. And I heard probably 25 or more people like that sent me a horror story. And they had a story like all I did was say, you got fragged or something, and he permabanned them. And so I really think that some of his money problems are due to the fact that he doesn't care. He has no, I hate to say it, but if somebody's in my chat throwing a lot of donos, I give them a little more leeway. If they say something off, I just give them a warning or say hey, don't, be kind or what. This guy is the least little bit of criticism, a comment he doesn't like, even if they're dropping donos constantly, he's like, fuck off, I'll find new victims, and he permabans all these people. So I heard from so many of them.
That's one of the things that Philip really fumbled the bag on the whole Kino Casino arc thing, is because he didn't embrace those new people that are kind of might say more edgy stuff to him, laugh at him, let's make fun of his gout.
Dude, I had a problem with that at first. In fact, I more or less had Mod quit over it. These people are so crude and rude. And then I review the chat log and I'm like, it's funny, relax. They are. They're ruder, they're cruder, they're louder, but you got to embrace these people, and it almost, I don't know about double, but at least an extra third of my audience because of those Kino Casino appearances. So I had to like integrate them in, and now everybody's getting along fine. So the Kino people, the UFO weirdos, we're all having a good time, you know. But they're a little ruder, cruder, and louder than your normal audience. But I love those guys, so yeah, he didn't integrate them very well.
Yeah, this generation would not survive Call of Duty 2 lobbies from back in the Xbox days.
If they're watching Triple P bust his balls, and it's okay, like I guess they're gonna go in his chat and bust his balls. You know, they bust my balls sometimes. You know, it's just he didn't integrate them well. No, he should have been kinder to them because that was a big influx of new viewers for him. You know, unfortunately. He didn't get a new influx of viewers from me like he thought he would.
Yeah, that was funny too. I mean, one thing before we get to the rest of the interview, your entire thumbnail showed exactly what the fuck you're going to talk about. Like, you know, like you weren't hiding anything at all. You know, you're very open. I thought almost too open. I was like, holy shit, man. Steve's just saying, yeah, we're going to talk about the bank leaks. And then you drop the thumbnail, which is ka-ching.
No, my favorite was that I didn't ask him to, but he did like a promo for the interview on his channel.
Yeah.
And so I clipped it and I put it on a goddamn web and it zoomed in, Phil, on a web, caught in a web. And I put the first thumbnail had a target behind his head. So like, if he's going to be stupid enough to think that, you know, this was going to go any other way, then I think it's his own fault. And no offense, but, you know, he called me a moron in his Cope stream. If you're dumb enough to go on a show called Truth Seekers and you've been begging and grifting and lying to people for years, then you're an idiot. You're an idiot.
Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Well, not only that, Steve, apparently we're both liars.
Yeah, you're gonna have to send me those FOIAs and the police report so I can. I haven't decided. Like, I'm probably gonna watch that Cope stream and hear him call me a moron 3 times or whatever he did. I'm probably gonna do like a aftermath of that interview show tonight.
Yep.
Which I was kind of on the fence. Part of me is like, just move on and laugh about this, but you know, he's. You know, because sometimes it seems pointless. Like, okay, let me prove that he lied again and lied again and lied again in his Cope stream, and you know,
the hard part is like he's never going to change on what he says ever. So like, you guys did the right thing, bringing up a lot of fucking information that's new, but then afterwards he just says, "Oh, they brought up everything that everyone else was always brought up," but that's not true, really. Like, you guys really showed individual stuff. Yeah. So like, and the case number, I think that was the best part of the whole thing. Really, was when I mean, the most like gotcha there was that like case number, and he's like, you know, what's the case number? And then Brosai, you said the case number.
Had it. Yeah.
And he's like, yep, that's it. But can you talk about Brosai Phil? Because I know you released that video about that. So what was that? Who did you talk to and stuff like that about asking the questions on that section? Right? Could you get into that, Broside?
Oh, I'm sorry. Talking about the
What exactly? Can you talk about that moment more?
So the only thing that was brought to me, you know, from Steve and big ups, by the way, man. Like, if I can just like gush for 2 seconds here, I promise I won't make it long. But you gave me an opportunity that a lot of other detractors probably deserved more than I did, and I don't know why you gave it to me, but I really appreciate it.
It's because I could recreate your research, so I know that it was correct. And I always say this: the hallmark of a good researcher is that I could go and do the same research and find the same results. And so I had already had that light bulb, like, let's use Pig Go and match what he's saying to these bank leaks, because at some point it becomes astronomical. Who can match all this? And he had already done it. So that's why.
Yeah. So that's, I just wanted to get that out of the way. When we first started talking about it, he said, "Hey man, you did really great work. I don't know how he's going to walk away from this, you know, saying that this stuff isn't his." He goes, "I want to bring you on. But you know, the concern being, of course, is you can't go after him hard." I was like, "No, I actually had no intent on going after anybody hard. I've gone after him hard in my streams. I've gone after him hard in videos. I've called him a dumbass. He is a dumbass. Let's be clear. I think I told him that I didn't like him at least. Anyway, I digress. Basically all he said was keep it kind. Don't go after him like you're a piece of shit, you're an asshole, et cetera, et cetera. And
I figured I'd be doing enough of that. So
yeah, I did want to, and then I'll shut the fuck up and you guys can continue on. I've been getting two things of flack. Number one is for using the lingo standby and saying a lot about honor, integrity, and honesty. So standby is a common thing, especially when I was doing computer forensics. I would be on the phone a lot and having to
sometimes people got to wait for information.
Walk people through this stuff. And so when it was like, hey, you got to find this, go find this. Standby is just something that I would always say when I was on the phone. So there's that. The truth, honor, and integrity thing. I hate Phil for this. I absolutely hate him for it. For being the way he is, lying the way he does, and things of that nature. It is a personal thing of mine. People can say it's cringe. I'm not going to disagree and say it's not cringe. I watched the video back. I fucking hate every second that I spoke.
That's ridiculous.
I'm not going to apologize for it.
Yes.
I wish I could make people understand why I was saying it, why I was doing what I was doing. But yeah, other than that, Steve basically just said, be nice, but confront him.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, that's what I want to say too. A lot of people are saying I'm not sure. I can just speak for myself here about that segment. When I was, questioning, I was like, okay, this segment kind of lost some steam and stuff. But I know, and Broside Phil, you please interrupt me if I say anything that is not true. I know Broside Phil makes stuff on the internet, and he knows that when you make shit on the internet, you are opening yourself up to criticism, not to get shit on. I mean, that's going to happen too. But I think criticism is very healthy, and Broside Phil understands that some people aren't going to like the shit he said. And he still took the shot of doing that very hard job, right? And also, criticism doesn't mean I think anyone could do it better than Broside Phil could. That's not the fucking case, because Broside Phil had the balls to do that, where a lot of people don't, right? You know what I mean? But go ahead, Broside.
Yeah, so I know the only thing that I know of right now, and I've done this intentionally, I have not watched the Tractor Beams version of the walkthrough.
Yes.
I've done that very intentionally because I did a decompression afterwards. It was nothing much. It was me just talking and being like, I don't even know what to say. Vega, big ups Vega, by the way. If you haven't subbed to him, go sub to Vega. He's a great dude, the little black mage of awesomeness.
Go to bed.
And go to bed, of course. Came on and basically said, hey, just talk it out. I'm here for you. And then my chat came through, and I saw in his chat that I was catching flack. Steve, I saw in your chat I was catching flack, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm not used to that. I
didn't have a problem with any way that it went. I mean, maybe it went a little too long, and hindsight's always 2020. Like, if I had to do it over again, you know what I would have done? Is I would have brought in 5 more detractors, but I would have limited everybody. Like, look, let's just do like 5, 8, 10 minutes max. And then
I feel bad about that, Steve. I really do.
It was fine. I think it was fine. I think you did a great job.
You shouldn't fucking feel bad. You don't know how the dynamics of the interview is going to go at the moment you get on.
Let's recognize this. If I had been making content shitting all over somebody for a long time, and then all of a sudden I'm having a conversation with them, it's surreal, it's weird, and you don't really. So I can understand it. Maybe you were a little off, like you were a little like, holy shit, I'm talking to this guy, and I got to get out what I want to say, and
Yeah, it was tough to. He is masterful at circle talking and routing things back. It is actually remarkable how good he is. One of the reasons why Triple P does so well with him, I think, I'm not gonna. We Triple P and I have had conversations in DMs. I'm not gonna out anything that we talked about, but he's talked with me about some of the stuff that he's done in his past that I did not know about. Triple P is very well suited to talk with Phil given his past education and given his past I didn't know work background. I didn't know it either. I can't verify it. It's his word. So I mean, I have no reason to disbelieve him, but he is. I didn't know it until he told me he is probably one of the best choices to talk to Phil.
Yep.
Nice.
Interesting. And so this last thing about this for you. Go ahead, Meerkat.
While
you go ahead.
we're on this, I want to just give my quick impressions. I think both Steve and Broside did a good job.
Yes.
Broside, I understand if you had a misstep, because this is literally what happens every time you have to represent yourself and also thousands of other people.
Yep.
and all eyes are on you. And I think you did a good job. I think you handled it in a mature way.
Yes.
I did watch the ALT, the restream on the Detractor Beam channel. I think they were being a little bit too mean, but in the content of their criticism, I agree with it. I did think those segments, especially like calling the police woman and all that shit, I think it was too drawn out. It kind of killed the pace. It could have been
by
better.
the way, on the policewoman thing, I know who he's talking about now. So I'm going to give the last name. I'm going to save the first name because the first name is so delicious that it is so ironic that I'm saving it for my stream. But Phil, I know you're watching this. So Officer Whitney is who I am now attempting to locate. She no longer works with the Renton Police Department. I think I found her. I think she works in a different state doing university type information. So that angle is being worked. But then on top of that, the other thing about him saying I never spoke with a man, that is going to be debunked on my next stream. That's a lie, an out and out lie. And wouldn't you know it, Steve, this is crazy. I have the fucking receipt.
Yeah. Well, this is a big problem that I have. But this is nothing new to me because I've confronted grifters with overwhelming evidence before, and they always try to explain it away. Like especially in the UFO world, there's always go-tos in the UFO world. Like maybe the Men in Black did this, or there was a government cover-up. That's why they're trying to. And there's been guys. There's a famous case where one guy got popped for CP. And he was a huge UFO guy. He was at all the conventions, documentaries, books, and he got busted for CP. And to this day, people still defend him and say that the Men in Black broke in his house. They put the CP on all his computers to discredit him because he was getting too close to the truth about aliens. And, the extent of that guy's evidence is like he put a mask outside a window of an alien and said that was an alien encounter and he filmed it. Like, come on. We found the mask, dude. You bought it on eBay for $22. Like, come on. And you're a CP guy. Like, why are we still arguing about this guy? So Phil did the same thing. Like, okay, because you weren't on that call, that 5-hour call yourself.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
It might not be true. You can't 100% prove this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Occam's razor does not apply to Phil.
Yeah, no.
I just want to say about the policeman phone call. So if you find that person and you call them, is the idea that you're going to call them and ask about a phone call that happened like 2 years ago that they probably wouldn't remember?
So it's not going to be
unimportant.
So it's not going to be for the acrimony of, or for the I'm out to get Phil. This is a personal thing for me because it's a loose end. I don't like loose ends. And so what I want to do is I just want to say, hey, Ms. Whitney, here's what I have. This is a big nothing burger. It's not, I'm trying to tie off something that says I will never know the answer to this question. Here's the scenario. If she goes, look, I don't fucking remember. That was 4 goddamn years ago. Cool. If she remembers, cool. If she denies, cool. I really don't care. I'm not looking at it to be a gotcha moment or a ha 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 type of situation. I just need to know. If I can find out, I find out. If she never calls me back because I left a message, or even if I have the wrong one and she says, hey, I'm not that person, well, then it's a dead end and I'll never know the answer. And but I at least tried. I tried.
Yep.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. Because, whatever, no matter what you guys brought to him, the bank leak story is going to he's not going to say like, yep, you know what it is. And his two defenses are, why would I lie about them? Which is hilarious because he said, why would I lie about WWE champions? Many, many times until the day it switched to, yep, you were right about that. So cool, guys. And the other one is, it's not hit. And one thing, Steve, that when you were saying the bank leak stuff and he was saying like, are you finished? Are you finished? So then you kept going with more stuff as you should have, because he was saying he was waiting for you to finish so he could then wrap up everything you said into one little bow and say, yeah, everyone brought all that stuff up already.
One answer to explain it all away. And that's what I was trying to avoid. And honestly, we had Broside Phil's correlating, I call them data points, like the correlating data points where, look, every time he talked about getting a haircut, it was there. And then we had the Burger King, and I heard last night Triple P like, well, that kind of made it like somebody could have faked it. But there was many things on the bank leaks that weren't talked about on Phil's show. So I guess
Yes.
they faked those too. And then we have the Burger King, which is like the charge hit the day before he talked about it.
Yes.
So somebody would have had to know that he was going to talk about having a bad meal at Burger King tomorrow and put that on the bank leaks. There's just too many, and I didn't even get to all the correlating data points. There was times he talked about going out to eat with his wife that correlate, and I had a separate slide with a lot of that. We didn't even get to it. But there's so many data points that directly correlate. And for somebody to suggest that somebody's going to fake a 5-hour teller phone call.
Yeah, that's funny.
I ran a commercial recording studio, and I would say I'm probably expert level audio editor.
Yeah.
It would take me a couple of days to clip together that somehow.
Well,
I
yeah,
have to have the software development kit because that's not a common voice. Also, just to address one thing, a few stupid people said like, "Oh, well, you could fake that voice with 11 Labs." You couldn't at the time that came out.
Exactly.
11 Labs is much more recent. You couldn't clone that voice at the time, and even if you could clone that voice, a person with a good ear for audio could tell the difference between the voice coming directly from the software development kit being generated text-to-speech wise and a cloned version. You'd be able to tell the difference. It's not cloned.
Of course, yeah.
You
It's
wouldn't
not a
even need
cloned
that.
voice.
You could actually put that through because the audio system you're talking about is a bunch of controls. It's very binary. If this, say this. So if it's transaction, say on, and it's going to have a list of numbers. So every number that they say, or every word they say, September, August, whatever they say, that's a control that comes from a single sound file. You could run that through an analysis and see byte perfect amounts of data. Every time they said September was said in the exact same way, the same frequency, the
same
11 Labs isn't going to be able to clone that because it's having to learn.
It's going to change it up a little bit. You're right. And then the other issue is that package is from a very expensive telephony bank teller software. And I went to college for computer science, so I tracked it down. Just to get the software development kit so you could use that voice would be like $10,000.
Well, we're already getting too deep, guys, because look at the things on the bank leaks. It's just ridiculous to even think about that.
Yeah,
like you
absolutely.
could, other people, remember, guys, other people could call that number and get the same information that the person first did, right?
I think people did from Kiwi before they took it down. Yeah.
Many people called that number back when it came out. And it was just, so that person would have to set up a fake system where they could call into legitimately and then record the same it was just ridiculous to think about. And it just Occam's razor, right, guys? Come on. The person that bought that Ka-Ching of the Ring burger, well, that Ka-Ching burger, not Ka-Ching of the Ring burger, the Ka-Ching would have to do it the day before Philip talked about his bad experience there. It's pretty fucking simple, right? It's pretty fucking simple.
I think it's worth mentioning that the starting off point before engaging with DSP is being 100% sure that no matter how perfect your investigation is and how well laid out all your evidence is and how conclusive it seems, he will never accept it.
Yes.
Because that means he's going to have to take it out.
It's going to ruin his grift because, look, if like, for example, there's a famous case I can relate to with UFO people. There was one grifter named Corey Good, and there was nothing like the bank leaks. But what happened is that one of his big whales got pissed off and started coming out and saying like, oh, I gave him $10,000 to move. Then I gave him $15,000 for his son's school. Then I gave him $10,000 for this. And it added up to like $50,000. And when that happened, his donors dried up. And this is what Phil is fearing. Like if these donors know that I'm spending $40,000 on a mobile game, all this money on DoorDash, buying all this liquor, going out to eat all the time, I'm not going to be able to do the pity party. I can't pay my bills. Please donate thing. It's going to affect him.
I got to push back on that a little bit because I actually think that his fans, let's say the whales, right? I said it earlier yesterday. He could kill their dogs in front of their face, and they would still say, "Yes, okay, Phil. Yep, you need $100 for a Arby's burger. Here's $100." So, like,
go ahead, bro. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
I was going to say he's a masterclass. He's a masterclass in Vendom, is what he is.
Yes. So, what Philip is doing when he doesn't admit to anything is he's really trying to save his, let's say, chance at redemption in terms of the internet at large. I think he really does want to be accepted by the internet as a normal human being creator that is a normal one, which is obviously, we know that's never, ever, ever going to happen. But I think that's what he's after more than trying to keep the whales around, because he knows they'll be around forever, right? They're not. I mean, some of them every once in a while one dips out for a while, but you know, the ones that have been there forever, it doesn't matter what the fuck you do. If you admit that he lied, literally admitted to lying for 7 years about spending $100,000 on a mobile game, and then he's still there. You know what I mean? Like, what else do you need? But what do you think, Steve? What do you think that's about?
It's born about it. There's a lot of social psychology there that backs this up, because admitting that you're wrong is very, very difficult for a lot of people to do. And the more of yourself you have invested in something, the harder it becomes. And so the more likely you are, this is where cognitive dissonance comes from, the more likely you are to try and find a way to square the circle than you are to step back and go, actually, I was wrong. And like at the time of the bank leaks, when he had to address it, and his defense came down to, I've had my identity stolen, but the thing that they're all saying has been stolen is not mine. So it's less for him and more for the whales that are questioning it. Here's your validation. Here's my explanation that justifies you continuing to support me. And he lost a lot of support from that, but he's still here. He's still got a bunch of whales, because if you're at the point where
he only had a few bad weeks and then he was right back, right?
Oh yeah,
right
a bad day, one bad day, and he's back to it. But yeah, go ahead, Steve.
But we're still like, you know, mainly hitting multiple goals per stream, aren't we? He's pressuring hard, but he's still recently he's done all right, especially coming off the King arc. Yeah, there's always someone, and that's the point. If you're at that point where you're giving that much to Phil, not only have you invested so much money in him, but you've probably also invested a lot of your identity in the felt in the trolls thing and seeing Phil win thing, and he's just like a regular blue collar streamer like me thing, and we have chill interactions thing. If you've invested a lot of your identity and personality into that, and that makes it harder for you to step back and go, I've been lied to here. I might have made a mistake.
What's the gambling theory called? Where you have too much into it, so you just keep sunk cost fallacy. That's it.
Yeah, and then the other
there's a lot of that too. Yeah,
the other thing is, and I've experienced this, and I didn't really understand this when I first started live streaming, but some of these people spend so much time with the host that they feel like that host is like their friend in real life. Like they really spend so much time.
Parasocial relationships.
Yeah, they're invested. And I had to learn about that and like understand the psychology of it, because, you know, like I always joke, like the people that come that are new, they're like, oh man, I love your show. You're the greatest guy. But then I say one thing they don't like, and some of them freak out, you know, like it's just a weird dynamic. So these people are spending, some of these people I'm sure are like on disability or they don't have jobs or something, and they watch him every time he's streaming for hours, 5 hours at a shot or whatever, and they feel like they know him, that's their friend. So of course they're going to feel defensive towards him, especially if they're sending him money. You don't want to admit you were a mark. You don't want to admit you were a mark, right? Like,
it's just the same
by this guy.
The same people that like were sticking up for Raquetta in the beginning before like that stuff came out, and then it's like, yeah, his kid was addicted to coke or whatever. It's like, well, we don't know the facts there. It's like, no, the police report. Well, you know, it's like
another one.
You know
Jesus,
what I'm saying? It's just well, we're not going to get into that.
Train wreck, yeah.
But you know, that's how it goes.
Again, with them though, that boils down to like, this is all I've got. Phil's socializing, and this parasocial relationship I have with him is the only thing I've got. I don't have other friends. I don't have other family. You know, there's nobody else to sort of take me away from that and get my social needs fulfilled that way. I just have Phil, and that's why it's been whittled down to the way it is with his audience.
Yes, and that's
they're all weirdos.
June pointed that out beautifully in his documentary. Phil offers one thing that he doesn't get, that a lot of people can't offer, is a very intimate viewing experience. Meaning, there's not a lot of people, the chat's not flying by, and consistency. Right? And because he streams 2 times a fucking day, 6 times a damn week. So for some people, that's the most important thing. You know what I mean? It's just being consistent. And that's why they're there. It doesn't matter how much you owe him for money. He's there every day. That's my boy. So anyways, big ups to a few people here. Let's get Steve. Nerd Brew says, Steve gave us an authentic alien interview. The truth is out there.
That's pretty good.
Magic Short
Bus. By the way, I have to say, like, I don't really get nervous very much, but I was a little nervous for this one. So, if anything that I could have done better, it would have been to be a little. I should have been a little calmer. I did raise my voice a few times, but you know, I kind of think like that's just passion. I was like, I can't believe this guy's going to sit here and lie like this. This is crazy, you know.
But dude, that's why I liked it, because at this point I've seen an infinity amount of DSP interviews and of all kinds, and they've tried to they've tried to show up evidence to get him owned and felted. And at this point, all I needed to do is watch something that is entertaining, that makes me laugh, and that's fun.
I saw your review. I just watched your review yesterday. I appreciate what you said, and I'm sure at least it was entertaining. And then the other thing is, I wanted to make sure that I backed him into a corner and give him every opportunity. Like, here, you can totally clear your name. And by the way, now he's saying he can't give me his bank records because I'm connected to detractors and I'm going to give it to them. I'll hire an independent accounting firm and he can give it to them. They're not going to risk their business license and all that to disclose personal information. All he has to do to clear all this up is show his bank statements from the time of the bank leaks. If they match, you're a scumbag. If they don't match, you're totally vindicated. And everybody's been lying about you for years. Who wouldn't take that opportunity? But he can't because he knows those bank leaks are real.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's obviously true. And then again, remember, he's already convinced the people that give him money, so he doesn't need to convince anyone else, right? In his world, right?
Yeah. No, they'll take it. I have to consider the safety of my family or whatever.
Yeah.
They'll take whatever reason he gets because that's all they need to justify their continued support.
Yeah, he also likes doing this whole reverse psychology, but not to his dents, but like to detractors by being like, all these guys have to do, all they have to do is just be good people. And like, they could come on my stream and give me donos, but they're not good people because they don't do that. He never actually says it, but what he's saying is, all you dents, all you people that are giving me money, you're the good ones. You're good, they're bad. If only they were good too.
Oh, a highlight for me was when you played the lunch meat sandwiches clip. And he said that was hamming it up. That was incredible.
That's one of my favorite clips because I don't think that was a bit. I think he was genuinely pissed off. Like,
there's no bit.
I might not get to go out to eat on my day off.
No
like,
bits.
The horror,
that wasn't a bit.
No,
that was real.
That was funny. He said I'm always hamming it up. Don't you think that I'm always hamming it up? Which he's not even doing now, right? But he's saying he did that back then too, which is even funnier because he's not even doing it now.
My favorite is when he said he hasn't asked for money for his bills for years, that this is ancient history.
And it was 5 days ago.
5 days ago, you were complaining that you need money for your bills. And like, I just think he must be terribly bad at money too. And like, I really mean this. In fairness to him, like, my wife's an accountant. We both grew up kind of poor. So we appreciate the resources that we have now, and we live well beneath our means. I'd be interested to see what his background, what his background was like. Like, he seems like an entitled rich kid to me. I knew a lot of them growing up.
Yes,
correct. I grew up on the mean streets of Philly, and once in a while we'd encounter these kids from the suburbs with like pools in their backyard. We're like, this rich prick. And they weren't rich. They were just doing better than us, So I'd be interested to see what his back, because he seems like a rich, entitled kid that doesn't understand the value of money, and it seems like he has a sense of entitlement. Like, I just deserve this money. Because I'm going to play a game today. Like, come on, bro.
There was this one time he was trying to plan a barbecue out, and if you saw the list of games and consoles and accessories and all this shit that he had, and he's like, "Yeah, I could bring this," and it was so much.
He had everything he ever wanted. That is why. Go ahead, Preside.
During one of the DS politics sessions, there was the guy who died in the subway. They let the guy go, and DSP went into this tirade against the father of, the stepfather or the foster father of the grown man, saying things like, "You let your son go out at night. I didn't go out at night. I had consoles. I didn't go and spray paint cars. I went to the local arcade with a $20 stack of fucking quarters that my mommy gave me." And it was just, it was mind numbing to watch him rationalize what does everybody not have a weekly allowance of $400? What the fuck is wrong with you? It was insane.
I don't think he was particularly rich growing up, or his parents or whatever, but I think he was an only child and spoiled to the best of their ability.
Comfortable at least.
I think because he never struck me as seeing, because there's that one bit of footage of his parents' house, right? That we know
Yeah,
of. Where
it's
you
a
see,
yeah,
kind of
it's
see
a
his mom and that.
smallish style
And it's
house.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they never struck me as particularly rich, but yeah, like I say, he was kind of only child, spoiled by the sounds of it. So yeah,
It's
no
pretty
different
simple,
for him.
guys. Who among us, real quick, who among us can remember a single toy our parents didn't give us? Like that just scarred your entire being, the likes of which you could still remember to this day, because that's exactly what happened at DSP with the Wolverine doll. He didn't receive one toy at one time, and he lost his mind over it, and still to this day he hates them. Go ahead, bro.
I know. I grew up kind of poor, and I had a father that was a first generation immigrant with his parents, and he was so cheap that, like, you know, but I forgive him. Like, I don't hold any grudges. But my dad would do things like, you ask for a bike, and he would go to a flea market, and then he would get a used bike, and he would spray paint it in the backyard and fix it up, and that's what you got for your birthday, you know. Like, but I don't hold it against him. He was just old school, like, you don't
doing his
spend
best.
money unless you have to, doing the best that you can. Yeah. But the fact that he's so bitter about that, and come on, dude, it's a and at the end of the day, it's a hunk of plastic. And by the way, I had plenty of fun on that used bike that my dad took his time and fixed up and painted and whatever, you know.
Yeah,
it's fine.
You actually learned how to ride a bike, unlike DSP, who said it was too scared of getting stolen from him in the mean streets of Connecticut. But go ahead, Broside, you were going to say something.
Yeah, it's completely off topic, but it was something that just popped back into my head when you were talking about the lunch meat sandwiches or something. I have to confess, I apparently have been subconsciously pignatized. I watched it. Somebody told me I said it. I said, there's no way I actually said that. They said, you fucking said it. And I went back and I watched it. I actually said factually fucking based to Phil.
Nice.
I completely fucking missed it. So Phil, you got me. You got into my head a little bit. I'm sorry. I was, when you were talking about lunch meat sandwiches, that came up, and sorry, it's been stuck in my head ever since.
Big ups to Review Tech Mongolia, who says, surprised Phil Chan Sonny Chu didn't complain about his ass hurting after the pounding that Steve gave him. Big ups, Review Tech Mongolia. Mr. Extravagant says, what's it going to take for everyone's favorite twink to turn the camera back on for us? I need my boyfriend's. Big ups. So I think he's talking about you, Meerkat, but that could be Sam. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I'm literally just laying in bed right now on my laptop. You don't want to see the camera.
Yeah, I always envy the Avatar guys. I'm like, damn, I should just do that, because then, you know, it's not easy.
Yeah, dude, I used to have the camera on and have this fucking layout and everything, and then I'm like, but I don't have to, and then also I can get as comfortable as I want when I'm I'm just laying down.
I'm envious.
So I'm lucky it hasn't come out yet, because my initial thought to this, I saw the bit yesterday where he was like, this Broside Phil, fucking liar, like he was actually a cop or something. There's some dude on Twitter saying the same thing. I have a documentary. I have a documentary that I'm a part of from the Jupiter Network.
Send me the link to that, please.
It's not done yet. It's not done. It's being made, thankfully. Because my initial knee-jerk reaction, I've talked with members of my Discord about this. I was like, should I review it? Because it will actually expose my face. It'll out me, what I look like, and it'll tell you where I'm from and all that type of stuff. I was like, should I respond to it? And everybody's told me thus far, maybe not. Maybe keep your anonymity as best you can for as long as you can. And the knee-jerk reaction I had when he was like, yeah, fucking lying sack of shit, I was like, if I had it right now, we're reacting to it right now, because it pissed me off when he said that. It did, but I'm over it now, so I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Yeah, and to clarify something, somebody was busting my balls. Like, Steve's blocking people because that guy's not a cop. No, I blocked one jerk off who was a sock account, and he was just being like really toxic. I don't have any responsibility to take a bunch of, he's one of those guys that like replies to a thread 27 times with insults. Yeah, you're getting blocked. The guy's a cop. Deal with it. Like, I'm not gonna take abuse from you. So I believe in free speech. I don't block people, but if they're being like that, yeah, I do, because I'm not going to take abuse from people.
Yeah, at some point it's ridiculous. And also, Rosa, he had to discredit you because he knows that policeman thing. People might believe this guy. So hold on, you don't even know if he's a real policeman. How do you know that? How do you what does that mean?
Actually, that's one of the reasons why I was like, you got to come on, Broside Phil, because I'm not stupid. I know that his perceived credibility would be better than me, some wackadoo on the internet, as a retired police officer. And also, as a retired police officer and detective, like, he investigated cases. So he's qualified to investigate this bank leaks case. Endless, he's got the...
Talking about qualifications, man, you came out of left field, hit me with a right hook, kidney shot, and uppercut. I did not see him coming. I was certified in CVSA, computer voice stress analysis. It's kind of it's the poor man's polygraph, is what they call it.
Yeah.
I had no idea you were a fucking certified polygrapher. Big ups to you on that, man.
Technically, I'm not certified. You could join this thing for a couple of, a little bit of money. The American Polygraphers Association.
Well, still, man.
I don't have like certifications, but I did the polygraph thing because I have lots of people that come to me and want to be on the show. And I would like to do some funny segments, but some of these people they have a story and that's all they have.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of research into polygraphs. I had a friend who did polygraphs for the Philadelphia police. He was a friend of my father's. And so I talked to him and he was like, well, you can get a machine now that's just sensors that hook up to a laptop and software. And I could teach you what I know about those kind of systems. And so he did. And so I have an in-person set in my house here with the polygraph on it. So eventually that's what all this started from. And by the way, because he said it on the show, it was Triple P's idea to polygraph.
Yes, that's
Phil.
what I thought. Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah,
And Phil,
it's
Steven's idea, this asshole, but really Triple P was the first one to say do it.
I mentioned the set that I have with the polygraph and the concept of that portion of my show, which I have people signed up for. We're going to get to it soon in the next couple of months here. Is that these people are going to come in, and I was telling Triple P this on the casino. I said, people are going to come in and like tell their story about being abducted by aliens, and we'll put some spooky music, and then when they're done telling their story, I hook them up to the polygraph and I tell the audience what the results are. I think this is great. And as soon as Triple P heard that, he's like, you got to hook up Darkside Phil. You got to hook up Darkside Phil to that. So it was his idea, but also I think this was part of the let's nail him down. And I got the NDAs written up. Because here I'm taking away all your objections. You want to prove you're telling the truth. Here you go. You got the NDAs. Give us the bank records. Show me your WWE account on your phone, and give us the police reports or the bank records from this so-called identity theft, and take the polygraph. And there's a road. I wanted to nail him down and corner him, and but he's going to refuse.
Well, the problem with filling a polygraph test is you ask him the question like, say, were you down from the rafters? And he goes, well, the thing you need to understand about that is mobile games work in a certain way. He never gives you yes or no. Are these bank details yours? Well, when I worked at a helicopter supply company, it wouldn't be able to get a reading from him.
Can you give me a yes or no answer, sir?
Well, when my parents signed his birth certificate.
Which I don't know if you caught it. I don't know if you caught this, but he tried to actually, oddly enough, Phil was trying to make the point of no matter what I do, they'll always find something else. And so when he was asking me about that, he was like, this is just very much so a yes or no question. Okay. Isn't it true? And I was like, oh, okay. So now context doesn't matter. Isn't that adorable?
He did that so much during that interview. You'd have to be like, did you lie on this bankruptcy form? Well, I didn't actually fill it in. What I did was I had a meeting with this judge and my tax attorney person. You just can never get a straight answer from him.
Yep. Go big up Beetlejuice 3 who says, really? Go ahead.
I was just going to quickly say, plus he also has absolutely no issue with just saying what he thinks is the right answer in that moment as well. He doesn't give a shit whether it contradicts something he's previously said or whatever, because he can always go back to saying, well, it doesn't matter anyway, no one cares, all that kind of stuff. It was
we don't care. We don't care.
Yeah, exactly. One of my favorite things about it was kind of like what you said earlier, ALT, about the saying everything was done because it was cringy and it was like purposefully so. And it's like, that's such a off the top of my head, spur of the moment, like, you know, one of those things where he's making it up on the spot. Like, he's never said that before. It's meant to be cringy, but he just said it there in the moment because he thought it was like he did the exact same thing in the Side Scrollers interview as well, where he was like, what was it now? He said something about where Adam pressed him when he did the holy shit Phil part.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know, he said something in response to that where he's like, you know how the YouTube game works, you know, it was always meant to be like that or something like that, and it's just completely off the top of his head.
Yeah, and he really wasn't coming to that with a real idea to answer your questions realistically, right? I mean, he knew his agenda. He knew even though you kind of, I'm guessing he was surprised by the questions, I guess, but he knew his answers, right? Of the same shit. Of, are you finished? Okay, well, let me tell you why you can't trust the words, the truth the felon found, because remember, that's a felony, guys. Like, all right. I mean, big ups to Beetlejuice 3, who says, really like DSP versus Mr. Zorg from Fifth Element. Have you ever heard that one, Steve? Mr. Zorg from the Fifth Element.
Yeah, I get Mr. Zorg. I get the bad guy from Grandpa's Boy, and I get Kylo Ren. I got what's that professor from the Harry Potter series? Somebody.
Snape, Severus Snape. There we go.
I get that too. Yeah, I just had a viewer say, my son just asked me, who's that guy with the black hair that you're always watching? He looks like the guy from Harry Potter.
Yeah, there you go. Marilyn Manson as well. There we go. We got a lot of options. So.
In my defense, I look like Marilyn Manson before he did. So,
there we go.
if we could turn the bank leaks to page 394.
Yeah,
Severus Snape. It's a Severus Snape reference from
people
one of the movies.
That.
Sorry,
cool people got it. Not cool people didn't get it. Don't worry, bro. Sorry. Arquestis says a front-facing baby. Big ups, Arquestis. Thank you. Magic Short Bus says, ask Steve how was his Arby's since his goal was hit. How was your Arby's, Steve? Did you actually get Arby's? I know you talked about that.
This is funny. I'm going to talk about it tonight at 7 p.m. on my show. I think it's important to establish that I'm greater than Darkside Phil. So I made like $1,000. And by the way, this prick counted up my super chats.
Well,
he went through the live chat and counted my super chats, and he knew exactly, almost to the dollar, how much I got in super chats. So I did very well. And so last night I took my kids to Chuck E. Cheese, and you know they have that Chuck E. Cheese pizza. If you're not aware, it's bad. It's like carnival pizza. I don't like it. So, but the kids had Chuck E. Cheese pizza. And
hell yeah!
After that, I took my entire, and this is why I'm greater than Darkside Phil, because I didn't ask for that money. I don't even think I did a beg, but I got a great night of support. So I bought Arby's for my entire family and a homeless guy.
Yeah,
and an extra cheeseburger, Arby's cheeseburger that I will eat on stream tonight and clown on Darkside Phil. So, and I didn't have to beg for it or tell people. My wife wants to eat, and I can't order yet until I get the money.
Steven, what's great is that he will be a rule stickler. 1 second and not the next. So one day he was one goal short, and he was like, well, I want to do it though. And I'm Darkside Phil. This is my stream. I can do it. Fine. That's fine. 2 months prior to that, he's playing, I think it was Elden Ring, or was it the first one, Dark Souls? And he wanted the Popeyes chicken sandwich. This dude.
Oh, I love those. I have one right near my house. It's like right down the street. I can walk there. It's dangerous. Those things are like crack.
He would constantly talk about how I really want to try this chicken sandwich, guys. And his chat is blowing up with, dude, order the fucking chicken sandwich.
Just order the fucking sandwich. Yeah.
Dude, dead ass locks eyes with the camera and goes, but then how are we supposed to do it when we hit the goal?
That's hamming it up, you dumb fucks. That's hamming it up.
Exactly. The one thing I didn't get a chance to ask him about is I noticed that he's very bitter about like bikini streamer gamer girls.
Yes.
He's very bitter about that. And in a way, I don't blame him. Like, it's kind of an unfair advantage. But if I have to choose, look, if I want to watch somebody play Dark Souls, I'm always going to pick the hot bikini girl over Darkside Phil. Always. So
Always.
He's very bitter about that because there are girls on Twitch that are just destroying him. They're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And all they do is wear a bikini and play the game.
Yeah. I mean,
and they don't really beg much.
Well, what's weird, Steve, about that is if you were to say they're hot and that's one thing, I'd be okay with that. It's like, yeah, they're hot. That's what they have going for. He doesn't, though. Normally what he says is, I'm not some big tittied streamer. But he is.
Well, yes, that is.
He's got the man boobs for sure.
The part that gets to him is they don't have to work for their money. That's his big thing. They don't have to work for it. Like he's working for it with his incredible jokes. Dr. Detractor.
He's just weird about females in general, Steve.
Yes.
There's a whole side of
you got to give these girls some points for creativity. Like, remember we just saw not long ago that girls were wearing like green tight booty shorts,
green screen
and they
booty
were
shorts,
putting the game on their ass while they played. Like, this is beautiful. This is creative. I love the girl thought, like, I'm gonna play the game on my ass and I'm gonna shake my ass while I'm playing the game. This is beautiful.
Creativity.
He cannot compete with that.
Dr. Detractor says, big ups all 5 of you. May Meerkat forever rest in peace. No, he's alive and well, Dr. Detractor. Thank you. Kaiser in the house says, I've noticed that I've noticed that Phil's behavior was very different on Steven's show compared to side scrollers. He was smug and self-righteous rather than meek. I think, when did the switch happen in your opinion, Steve and Broside? Because he started off like kind of on equal footing, but I think once you showed the Frawny stuff, he kind of said, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm not explaining anything anymore. But what do you think, Steve?
I think he was okay with the e-begging talk because I framed it like, hey, maybe you just have these social problems and you don't understand, and you have perceptual problems. But once we got to the website of the e-begging, I think he got an idea. I think that's when like something clicked and he went, "Oh no!"
Yeah, and then
I think it was when so there was the begging, but then there was normally a streamer would have. I think normally during an interview you had I think it was a 12-minute thing of him begging, and he hit you pretty good, like I was like, shit, he's gonna just let this one go, because it was old begs, and he was like, Steve, this is like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Out of left field, here you come with, oh, hold on, you jump from minute 1 in the video to minute like 12,
and then it was like stuff from last month,
2025, and it's like, guys, I don't know. It's like, yeah. So what about this? At that point, he was done. He was just like, this fucking guy.
Defeated. Yeah, I give him credit though, because I really thought he was going to rage quit before he did, and it seemed like even at the end he didn't want to end it because he didn't get the last word, and he still thought he could somehow come out a winner in this.
So that leads me to my next question. I'm about to ask you, Steven. So I personally thought that I thought clearly that Triple P was more involved in this than he was. He didn't give you any kind of directions on this interview. You were going off by yourself, right? But
we had no conversation about the tone of the interview. We had no conversation about nobody told me like be nice or don't snake him. Nobody. So listen, I don't want to create any rift between me and Triple P. If he's if his position is that he really thought that I was just going to softball glaze this guy, then I apologize. Maybe I should have said to P. And part of me wanted to, but I didn't want to jinx it, because I kind of felt like part of me I did have the thought, like, should I tell Triple P, like, what's going to happen, right? You know what I'm going to do. You know what I do, right? Like I said, you don't throw fresh meat in front of a wolf and tell him he can't eat.
Yes.
So that's my position on this whole thing. We didn't have a conversation. I didn't clarify, and maybe I should have,
Yeah.
But I jinx it.
I think myself, and I don't want to speak for anyone else here, but Triple P's tweets after that exposed for normal people what the plan was. You know what I mean? So I'll read one here. I would just like to make it clear that Steve went too far last night and didn't give DSP a fair hearing. Never let him talk. Despite that, DSP against all odds gave a spectacular accounting of himself and won the day through staying positive and true to himself and his fans. And anyone with the brain can know that that's not what happened. Also,
I'm starting to think that Triple P is an evil genius, and I'm just a puppet. Phil's a puppet on his strings, and so am I. And then I know on your show, he said some Jedi thing like some Emperor Palpatine shit. He said, He said everything is proceeding according to my plans or something. So
yes, he did.
Who knows? He might be an evil genius. I don't know.
Also, one more thing for Triple P, so you know his true intentions. Again, you have the requirement to understanding his true intentions are that you haven't eaten any crayons that day, okay? That's the only requirement. I'm going to read it to you here. At the end of the day, Phil will have a rewarding stream of meaningful content with his positive community where he's hitting goals and crushing trolls. He has a beautiful family with his wife and son. What does Steve have? Only the admiration of a toxic group of trolls. So there we go. And Steve, if I'm correct, you have a beautiful wife and real son, right?
Two real sons, yeah. Two real children.
Have you declawed them yet, or are you waiting on that? Okay,
so
go
Steve,
ahead.
actually, both Steves, but Steve of the Dead, you're trustworthy, so no problem. It was an accident that I sent it to you, Steve. I sent you the initial comms that I had, and basically, if you're worried that he didn't know, he knew. He absolutely knew.
Yeah. I remember quoting that tweet saying the best thing, it's incredible that Phil is going to take this as you being sincere, and he fucking did. Later on that night, on that stream, he
again, social cues. He doesn't understand social cues. He doesn't get it.
He can't get sarcasm. He had the DSP versus the internet thing, and occasionally someone would send him like a British comedy clip, and there'd be like some wordplay or some sarcasm or something that he wouldn't get. But even then, it didn't even need to be like that niche. There was that all-time favorite video of the guy who's customizing his car, and he's just showing off like, this is the bit where springs shoot out of the tire, and I've taken off the hood for speed and all this stuff. And Phil just didn't get it. He didn't get it at all. I know, I love it.
I need one monthly fix.
All right, so I do have that. I think it might be worth playing. So here is yesterday from the Level 1 podcast, and Philip's going to talk about he calls it the elephant in the room once again, and it's not a pregnancy announcement.
In my defense, too, this is something I don't understand, but I do understand this. The guy with the bigger bullhorn always wins. And, that interview is going to break 20,000 views today, I think.
Yeah.
And his Cope stream is at 640 views.
Well, that's it's working. It might get to 1,000 at some day. So just wait.
Wait a minute. 640 views. Dear God, that's like 3 times the amount he normally gets.
That's crazy.
It's good for him.
I want to play this, and then I want to play 2 clips before we finish today, and that is Phil's talking about Triple P, and then Triple P's own response last night for the full context here.
That was wild. I tuned into that, and I was like, what is he saying? What?
Okay, so this is a real quick thing here.
All right. Well, let me tell you the conversation I had with him, and if he's still here, I'm sure he'll pipe in here.
Yeah, okay? Definitely. Please pipe in, Triple P.
What's up, Jade? How you doing, man?
What's up, Jade?
So, the conversation I had with him was, what the hell was that? That was obviously a train wreck, right? That's not what I was told this was going to be at all. I mean, I just read you word for word what I was told it was going to be.
I'm 1.5.
And basically, this was set up, not necessarily set up, basically, Steve reached out to me, because he heard of me from the casino and said he wanted to do the interview. And of course, I talked to Ashton about it previously and stuff. And he said, yeah, do the interview. It'll be good. And yada, yada, right? So I had a conversation with Ashton about this. And basically, his response is thus, all right? And I'm not making this up or exaggerating. He's like, I had no idea that he was going to do that. I knew he was going to ask me questions.
Right.
But I had absolutely no effing clue that he was going to go to that extent and that he was going to actually have detractors on the show and that he was going to go that heavy in. And yes, that was absolutely a statement that went too far.
He put out a call to action. Who did he think was going to contact me? He put out a call to action saying, if you have any information on Phil, who did he think was going to contact me?
Exactly.
3 of Phil's supporters or 200 of the detractors? Yeah.
Did any of his supporters reach out to you?
Not one.
Any fans? Not one.
Not one. Not one.
That's a mic drop moment.
Contacted me, wanted me to snake him. And a long time ago, I learned that sometimes you have to give the audience what they want. And if 200 people, 150 people contact me, want me to rip them a new ass, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it because that's what the people want. You got to give the people what they want.
Yeah.
So I want to make.
Did you have something else that you didn't have the chance to go through, like another guest or some other info?
Yeah, I had a bunch of clips of Keemstar trashing him about not taking the 50K.
Yeah,
and my understanding is that, and I could be wrong, he's free to correct me, but my understanding, and by the way, I got to know Keemstar a little bit because he tried to get in the UFO space. That didn't go well. He hired some people that I know, and that just turned into a shitstorm. But he didn't do well in the UFO space. But so I know him from that, and like I was one of the people that he was going to get, but it didn't. It didn't work because Keem probably, at least this is my understanding. Of course, Keem, knowing that what little I knew about Keem, was like he's going to want to generate sensationalized clickbait.
Yes.
And I'm a skeptic, so I'm not going to be good at helping him generate sensationalized clickbait. Yeah. And my audience would crucify me if I took a job doing that. Mm-hmm. So I knew him a little bit, and I by the way, I asked him to come on the show, but I didn't get a reply from him. Yeah. But I had all these clips of Keemstar talking about the 50K, and this is my understanding. The 50K offer wasn't, you have to work for me full time, give up your show. No. It was like once a week, you do this local show, and here's 50K. I'll guarantee you make 50K the first year. And so, Keem's whole thing was you beg constantly. I still have the clips. I'll play them tonight, actually. You beg constantly. What if you just took the 50K and then you could just have fun on your show and not beg, not have this push and pressure for goals constantly, because you have the 50K buffer and the 50K could just take care of you. And then, of course, I'm sure if he would have done that show, that he would have made more than 50K a year eventually.
Oh God,
absolutely. So I had that. I had more correlating data points with restaurants that he had spoken about. Like I'm going out to eat tonight. They're on the bank leaks. I'm going to. I have to go to Petco. My cat needs cat litter and food and treats and stuff. That's on the back. So. The original plan was to hit him with Broside Phil, and then I would go with my correlating points, but we couldn't even get through it. There was two, so I had like 12 correlating points. And then when he said there was nothing new, I had all these maps that showed that everything on the bank leaks was within 5 miles of his house. Everything on there was all within. So I made all these maps to show that. I only got to a few of them because he kept deflecting and interrupting. Yeah. I had a ton more to hit him with,
Go ahead, bro. So you were going to say something.
Get to it all.
Yeah, no, fuck, I may have lost it in my head there, but what can I say? It's what I do. When you were saying that he was going to bring, there it is. You were going to bring all these other data points out. The most recent fucking, I think it was the night stream. Mm-hmm. Right before gameplay, he was saying, well, guys, there was the escort scandal, there was the people that wanted to become a moderator, and he listed off, there was one that was actually quite impressively unbelievable. And he said, so guys, if you think that all of that sounds unbelievable, that's true. It's like, yeah, I mean, I can see one person doing every single one of those things. I absolutely can. What I don't see, however, is how, would it be crazy if somebody stalked somebody? Absolutely. That would be crazy. But could somebody do it? For sure. But that would be crazy. Mm-hmm. What I couldn't see, however, is, falsifying fucking satellite data to show longitude latitudes of your exact GPS coordinates on a cell phone because they hacked into your cell phone. They could have gotten that information based on the fact that they could have watched through all the hours upon hours and hours in my streams and correlated it into a spreadsheet and then added false information into there. It's like, dude, we're well outside the realm of what you just brought up as crazy.
We got the CIA, the whole team to fake all this.
We've gone from crazy to the NSA going, I don't know if we can do that. But we might be able to.
That's his only defense.
Go ahead, Steve. Sorry, just quickly. The best part of that is when Side Scrollers said that to him and went, is that your story? You really want to go with that? He went, yeah.
Because we have nothing else, you have to make sure, like, oh yeah, look how crazy this is. But his defense is that's not true. At the end of the day, that's his defense. Is that's not true. So when you don't have you don't have anything else, you have to say like, listen how crazy this is because the information is crazy because of this and because of this. Because at the end of the day, his defense literally is that's not true, and the information comes from a felon, so therefore you shouldn't believe it. Which is okay. I think this is almost done. I want to play this.
He shouldn't have done it like that.
Yeah.
And he basically kind of went rogue, and it looks like he did it because he wanted to make some money.
You went rogue. Rogue Squadron.
And by the way,
Rogue
I
Squadron.
just want to say, in my defense,
yes,
my show is not my full-time income, so it's not like I'm like a vulture and I have to make this money to survive or anything. Like, to be honest, that was kind of a windfall for my show, and I may get a stream deck, or I may buy something for the show with it. But all the money that I collect with my show goes to just the show. I have a separate account. My wife's an accountant. There's no commingling of funds. There was no financial motive for me to do what I did. I just thought it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. And a lot of people do things that not for money. I know Philip can't believe that, but a lot of things people do a lot of things just for the fun of it. And that was fucking fun for sure. But okay, let's go.
Well, there you go. Ashley just said it in chat. He's corroborating what I just said. He says, it's true, Steve went into business for himself and he lied to us. Year of the Snake.
I don't understand his business. I went into business for myself. What does that mean? Somebody explain that. Is that like logo?
I was going to say.
So listen to the language. Yeah, and listen to the language. Sam, exactly where I'm going with this. Listen to the language he said. He went rogue. That means out from under control. Who was supposed to be controlling you?
I'm confused by this whole thing. And as far as going into business for myself, I own a couple of small businesses and have over the past 15 years. I've already been in business for myself, and I think that Triple P he knows me well enough to know like he can't. If Triple P had come to me and asked me to give him a softball interview, he knows I would say no. I would just say no.
He knew what was going to happen. He knew exactly what's going to happen.
That's what he's doing.
He might have known what was going to happen, and I don't know.
The only thing, remember, guys,
going to business for yourself, by the way, is a wrestling term that means essentially going off the wrestling script to make yourself look good.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense. They're both wrestling guys. That makes sense.
Yeah, I just apologized. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know the wrestling terms. I'm sorry, guys.
But he's still fluffing up Phil here going, you were supposed to have like the interview where you went over your history and, it was all supposed to be good. And he's doing that. He's fluffing up Phil again. And again, if you socialize, you could pick up on that sarcasm.
Remember, guys, Triple P, like Steven already pointed out, Triple P put a call to action to people to email Steven things to ask Philip. Do you really think Triple P didn't know exactly what was going to be sent to Steven? Do you really think that, guys?
But really, I want to say about Triple P and Andy too, like, their show is I'm so glad that I hooked up with those guys, and I truly believe this. I think Triple P is one of the funniest, most talented person on the internet as far as entertainment goes. Like, this guy can take anything and make it funny as hell. Like, he is so talented. So I don't want like some kind of rift over this. I hope we're okay. I haven't really
I'm sure we
haven't really talked about what happened.
You did you did exactly what he thought might happen, or something, maybe even better than he thought it would go, honestly. Who knows? But he knew it was going to happen, and you performed the job admirably and very entertaining with fashion, let's say.
What he's doing,
go ahead,
what Triple P is doing in this clip is keeping the pig buttered up so he can get him in more cringe situations again.
Yeah, maybe he's milking him. Yeah, who knows?
The trouble is, he's being so blatant about it, but the only one that can't see it is Darkside Phil, unfortunately.
There's a Sherlock Holmes quote from the second one. It's so overt, it's covert.
There you go. Yeah. That works well, honestly. Rio in the house says he kept emphasizing that it's Steve from the Truth Seekers. I wonder which Steve he didn't want people thinking of. Oh, yeah, we have our own Steve here, so. Beetlejuice 3 says, can't wait for Phil to hear about this and deny any of this is true because Triple P, he calls him Triple P, said he loves him and wants the best for him. So, yeah, okay, we got to get to that. So I want to finish this up, and we got to play Keno Last Night before we get out of here. Hold on. We're almost there.
Well, obviously, we all know that this is truthful statement. Year of the Snake.
Yeah, Year of the Snake. Great joke, Triple P. You kill me.
Okay, so, there you have it. Now,
okay.
Obviously, truth is in the eye of the beholder.
Yes.
That's what they say. Correct?
No.
The truth is in the eye of the beholder.
No, that's not what they say.
True.
That's not what they say. Did you not hear that?
From
Did you not hear that?
Beauty is in the. What do you mean truth isn't? Oh my god.
Well, I've often said that facts are on the eye of the beholder. So truth is in the eye of the beholder, obviously, and that's so. Now he's going to go into what? How will we know what Triple P's true intentions were?
Everyone has to make a judgment
Yeah.
for themselves on the situation. Okay.
Yes, we do.
All right. Personally, I would tend to believe Ashton, and here's why.
Yeah,
Here's
well,
why.
we
Here's
knew
my
that was going to
rationale,
happen.
right? We've got a good thing going. We got a good wrestling commentary show going that we both enjoy.
We got a good thing
We like
going.
working together, and we have plans in the future of stuff that we can do together.
Does
that's
anybody
productive, that both of
really
our
show
audiences
up
like.
to hear them talking about wrestling?
No.
They're there for the Grill Phil, and then Phil made a clip out, and nobody liked it. Everybody's like, "Where's the Grill Phil segment?"
Everyone knows
This is
that, by the
shit.
way.
Yeah.
Everyone, again, not eating crayons, understands that.
It's money. So why, in anyone's right mind,
That's why the funny part is, remember, there was Grill Phil segment, and then they moved it to supposed to be after the show, but Triple P just did it in the middle of the show anyway. Remember last time? So Triple P knows Grill Phil's the only thing people are showing up for.
Yeah, and he says it's a successful. He says it's a successful show. Sorry, I had to make sure I pronounced that right. Successful show. I don't think there's been a spike since. I think it has been a straight downslope in terms of support and viewership. So he's like, yeah, nobody wanted that. Took it out. Viewership dropped more. It's like, maybe reconsider your position.
Yeah, how many people are showing up to see Triple P though? You know, like their numbers aren't that good, and really, like I think most of the people, 3/4 of them at least, are there to see Triple P. They're not there to see Darkside Phil. In my opinion,
Triple P clearly likes wrestling. He needs to get into his own show and talk about with people that do like wrestling. You know what I mean? This kind of Grill of Phil segment is good for us, but that's it, right?
to treat me like dirt intentionally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That would ruin that relationship. If there's a good working relationship going.
Oh,
we're just
definitely.
getting steam with the wrestling show, right? We're heading towards WrestleMania. We're actually doing good. We actually had a great show this last week. We're looking forward to more moving forward. We have other ideas of stuff that we want to do together in the future. So why would you then just shoot that in the foot? It wouldn't make sense. Right?
Triple P, again, did a call to action for people to ask questions to Steve. Triple P knew what was going to happen. He knew exactly. Phil just has to cope and pretend that's not true. But
so it's this simple. All right? It's just this simple.
Mm-hmm.
You can believe whatever you want, and it's up to you to judge.
Yes.
For me,
that's what we're doing.
I tend to believe PPP.
Yes.
In the conversation that
I call him PPP.
I do think that this was Steve going into business for himself, going over the top, extreme, trying to grab that bag and run with it.
If you listen carefully, you can hear Triple P dying of laughter right now. It's very interesting. Listen carefully.
And I guess we have to see what his actions will be moving forward.
Yeah.
Like, is he actually going to continue to make the tractor content about me and try to bank on it and try to make a buck? You know what I'm saying? He could. Like I said, that's copy. So not only in that case would he have been copy pasted.
All right, we're going into side scroller shit. You're going to say you're going to turn to the side scrollers to do that very same thing. Blah blah blah. But.
Yeah, and also I want to mention he keeps saying that I just copied and pasted everything. I don't think he understands how like research works. I cited my sources. I cited all the sources. Well, that's not copy and paste. That's using available data points and information and but correlating it. And then also in the case of Broside Phil, in my defense, I checked his work.
Yes,
because. At first, I was like, "Holy shit! This guy got him on 8 haircuts! Wow!" and then I was using a different tool. I didn't know about Pick Go, but then somebody showed me Pick Go. It's a lot easier because I'm using one that's a general. You can go to any YouTube channel. Pick Go is better. And I checked through. To be fair, I didn't check through all 8. I think I checked through 5 of them, and I was like, "This guy's good. I'm good.
Verified enough.
His data's pristine." So it's not copying and pasting. It's using available information and citing the source where you found that information and verifying that information is factually true and correct. That's not copying and pasting. That's good research.
Those standards came from a university, and they
I went to college. I learned to cite sources.
But Steven, can you prove that university isn't a detractor?
But what he's doing is diminishing you. He's not saying look at this guy, he did all the work, it's just a little lazy copy and paste. It diminishes you so that he can feel better about himself and everything that's happened.
And it's just telling you that, again, this is something. Oh, we got it from Kiwi Farms. You can't trust anything from there. Oh, at Kiwi Farms. Oh, you know that website, guys. It's the devil. And that's another way
by
just
the way,
to discredit.
if somebody would have told me a few years ago that there'd be a thread on Kiwi Farms about me, I never would believe that.
There you go.
It's so surreal. It's so wild that all this happened to me in the past couple of months. I'm like, somebody sent me a link and I'm like, holy shit, I'm on Kiwi Farms. This is crazy. You know?
Big ups to Rio, who says that when he was grifting the Sonic Cat, he asked for $100 dono, and then someone gave him a super chat, and he laughed giddily and said that was a super chat, not a dono. Yeah, well, that's hamming it up, Rio. Come on, you know that. Joe Blas says, big ups on 150. Oh, yeah, this is our 150th episode. Big ups, everybody.
Hey,
can you believe it?
Oh, shit.
Love to see everyone here. Steve found your Bob Lazar coverage fascinating. Your Bob Lazar coverage. Someone said they found it fascinating.
Yeah, that's somebody I've been ripping that guy to shreds forever, and unfortunately, like, you know, the way those stories work is because the people selling them, and I always say this, they're not telling you a story, they're selling you the story. They only tell you half the story, and the other half of the Bob Lazar story is goddamn fascinating. His wife was a convicted murderer. She had ties to the Hells Angels. He ran a whorehouse. He's a fake scientist, you know, because they always say former government scientist who worked on alien space. He never was a scientist. The guy was a total fraud. It's a fascinating story, and I'm working on a documentary. The other half of the story that all the people selling it won't give you, because they know it ruins the story. If you know the other half of the story, you're like, oh my God, this guy ran a whorehouse and his wife was a murderer? Holy shit. And one of his wives killed themselves, and then because he married a second wife before he divorced the first one, and she killed herself. And he keeps getting raided by the FBI for selling crazy shit that he's not legally. It's crazy.
Review Tech Mongolia has a new one here. Steve looks like the guy from The Room. Another one to add to the fire. Okay.
There you go.
I don't know that one. Magic Short Bus says, Kick Chat was amazing last night. Someone said, Nightbot is the least regarded YouTube chatter.
I got Kick Chat was a fall during that.
All right, let's go to this video here, because this is last night. Kino Casino has to talk about this a moment as well, and they respond, okay? So big ups to Expand On.
They're even laughing in the thumbnail.
Yes, they are. Just wait. This is very serious.
Because it's riveting.
We love showing meaningful content.
Speaking of which, all the chats all the rage about Steve versus Phil.
What happened with that?
Now let me just clarify.
Andy's acting like he don't know.
Remember, they're being very serious.
He's got a Bret Hart shirt on as well.
This is all very serious razzing. Here we go.
Tell him what happened.
We made you, Steve. Steve, how could you betray us like this, Steve? We invite Steven into the show. We get him this big audience.
They did do that. I'll give him that. They did give him a huge audience
for Steve.
Yeah, they did do that. I'll give him that.
To do this softball interview where he sucks off Phil. And it was supposed to be about Project 7. I told
Steve, any truth to that so far?
No.
Okay,
no
just want to be clear.
Project 7
okay,
or
we're going to fact check live here.
Softball never came from PPP to my ears at the end, so I don't know, you know.
Okay, here we go. There's no Project 7 talk. Here we go.
You're going to interview Phil about Project 7. You're going to watch the clips. You're going to play like DSP doing Cup of Noodles.
Only positive commentary.
Did you talk to Andy about giving only positive commentary?
I did not have any. I'll say this on the record. I did not have any communication whatsoever about this interview with Andy Worski at all.
Okay,
none.
Just want to make sure we said the facts here. It's a very factual thing. Okay,
to my recollection.
Okay, thank you.
A generation of content online. Dark Side Phil, the legend.
FF13 review.
And what happened?
FF13. That's a deep cut. That's good. FF13 review. Yeah. We need a positive commentary. That's the one he doesn't open.
He doesn't open while the fire alarm is blaring off in the background. It's great.
Yes. So we had to.
He doesn't open the box. Yeah.
Yes. It's an unboxing video where he doesn't unbox the item.
13 minutes.
The convoluted snake scheme that Steve executed. He was subverted by the detractors. Duty got to him. Alt apparently got to him.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. By the way, this I can confirm. This is false. Listen to this.
Duty got to him. Alt apparently got to him.
No.
They poisoned Steve against King Phil.
No.
They poisoned Steve.
Blame the
And they
detractors.
removed the broomstick from his hand and gave him a shovel to bury Phil. Fucking shallow grave. I couldn't believe it. It's the year of the snake. Steven just went into business for himself.
That was that talking point again.
Snaked everybody. And then he called out Phil's shameless grifting, his scams, and his lies.
I'm not surprised, honestly. I had a feeling about Steve.
I can't believe it, Steve. I can't believe it.
You know he believes this, right? Not
Phil
100% buys this. He thinks this is legit.
Yeah,
not an act. 100%. This is real. Look at how they're defending me.
That was the plan.
I'm sure Phil's like, see, they're on my side, guys.
Yeah. Oh,
they're on my side. Yeah.
He's jerking off right now watching this alone in the office while Kat is crying downstairs. Watch. I mean, Philip is loving this. Loving this. Like, see, I told him. That's what I said. I knew it. Triple P is acting now. 4 people on Earth don't agree with, believe this. DSP, Jade, Derek, anyone else? Only Iced Coffee? Like, that's who believes this right now. Is not a joke. You know what I mean? But all right, let's keep it going. A lot of fun.
It happened.
Fucking crazy.
We were deceived by Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy. I know I was supposed to be a good interview.
Yes.
And we were saying,
I think it was a good interview.
Gave Phil a great chance. We did. And then these detractors came in and subverted the whole thing.
Fuck them.
I had no idea. Damn hell. Damn you, Tony. What's his name? Thank God. Darkside Phil was so badass last night.
Yeah, definitely. Killed it.
He killed it.
He stood tall and conquered all. Because he stayed focused on providing positive content for his fans, meaningful content for his fans, and he defended his legacy. And he didn't cave in to Steve's insane demands to, provide proof of his claims.
You wanted me to put him on.
Did you right there? He didn't cave into his insane plans, like providing proof.
This is like my favorite. This is my just straight up. This is my favorite Triple P rant of all time, right here. Like he does this. This is a planned thing. Like he says it very well here.
Steve's insane demand defended his legacy, and he didn't cave in to Steve's insane demands to. Provide proof of his claims.
That is an insane demand, honestly.
Oh man.
His name. That was fucking moronic lunacy on Steve's part. Because the king's already. Doesn't matter if the king is guilty. He's the king. He can pardon himself.
Yeah, definitely.
Trump's president now.
I am no longer guilty.
Pendulum is swung.
Because Trump's president, which is what Philip has said, remember? The pendulum's going back. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if Phil scammed his fans. You know why?
Phil should.
Because Phil scamming his fans is fucking base.
Steve of the Dead. Sorry, I've got to ask: is there like a celebrity account of somebody who is like people would know is this level of narcissistic to like believe this?
Yes.
Like they would be like,
oh my god.
Yeah, this is definitely
Andrew.
somebody who loves Prince who?
Prince Andrew. This is Prince Andrew after he was interviewed by Emily Maitlis on BBC, thinking he did a good job. One of like the most infamous car crash interviews in British television history, and it's he came away from it thinking he did well. So that's like the link I'm making in my head. Oh, Stockton Rush, the guy who did like Ocean Gate and was like, yeah, I could totally reach the Titanic, and then squashed himself for 4 other people.
I'm thinking Cyrax or Daniel Larson. That just believe anything.
You don't have to sell me on Phil.
Yeah.
I'm already hypnotized, Steve.
Yeah. Can you believe it? He scammed his fans. That's why we're cool with him.
Why we support him.
That's why we support him, because he's a pretty great. Listen,
This is their best segment. This is their best segment ever, dude.
You gotta respect a guy that can grift this hard and this long and get away with it. You gotta give the grift a little respect.
If he was just like them and was grifting to this point, and he knew it. He was like, "Yeah, this is an actual grift." I don't think he would catch half the flack he catches, but it's the fact he tries to sell himself as this like lovable character of perfection that is just like everybody should love me. Kino, on the other hand, is like, "Yeah, fucking hate us. We don't give a shit. We're grifting. I don't care." Phil, no, but I don't actually grift, guys. You don't understand. It's fantastic. Sorry.
There's no problem.
I already view him as
DSP
God.
scammed his fans. That's why we're cool with him.
Why we support him is because he's a con artist like us.
You know
what I mean? He's a dirty piece of shit.
Imagine not scamming.
He keeps going. Imagine not scamming. He just keeps going. He keeps going. Right. He's a con artist. He's a scam artist. He keeps going.
It's because he's a con artist like us.
You know
what I mean? He's a dirty piece of shit.
Imagine not scamming your fans.
Oh man! I don't know. Ultimately, what ended up happening, Steve enlisted a
He's a dirty piece of shit, obviously.
retard detractor.
I love that the fan said, "What are we doing? Not scamming our fans? What are you?"
Fucked it all up. No. He fumbled the football on the 1 yard line. I'm not even being fucking like funny here.
Yeah.
This guy Steve brought in. Holy!
Now you're the scapegoat, bro. Side.
I haven't heard this.
Okay.
Let me tell you about the honor and dignity of being a police officer.
What? Wait, a cop?
This guy's not a cop. Like Steve gets this guy who claims to be a cop who joins. The guy's entire life is Phil. And it's like this guy was way too close to the situation to properly press Phil or like interrogate Phil because the guy, like, honestly, it was like he was like in the presence of Jesus Christ.
I wouldn't describe it like that. You're in the presence of Jesus Christ.
Transaction. Because they're putting a lot of effort into all of this shit.
Yeah.
Way more effort than is fucking ever needed to crucify Darkside Phil. You know what I mean? They got the pie chart up and everything.
I was actually really busy yesterday. What was what transactions, like what he buys with his debit card and shit?
Yes, man. They have every transaction. And then, but the thing was, what they were arguing kind of, to me, made it less likely they were real.
Okay, let's hear this.
The argument was, it's like, okay, so you said on this date you got a haircut.
Yeah.
And here we have in the bank.
This is the argument he's going with now. Phil was going to go with.
A haircut for $14.
There's no way that happened.
Well, no, they had it like 8 different times, 8 different haircuts. They even had Phil's wife in a photo at the haircut place.
Yes.
He didn't recognize that as his wife, though.
I know.
Anyone.
Can you imagine? That is wild. Philip did not recognize Kat's picture.
No, he did. He denied it was her. He denied it was her.
Oh, that's wild.
Show me another woman that looks like her in Renton. Come on, dude.
I'm just thinking,
she's pretty unique looking.
But wait a minute. Doesn't this, like, couldn't
maybe she doesn't look like that anymore?
Oh, well. Well, she was already rocking that
sick.
haircut. You can make an opinion, you know.
Saying this on stream, couldn't they have put the fake transaction in the spreadsheet to then give it credibility?
Yeah.
So to me, it actually kind of gave it
So this
less
is-
credibility. That being said, I mean, they
Shout out.
Big
obviously
ups.
fucking had like endless fucking proof that it was all real. But you know,
endless fucking proof that it was all real.
like
It was real.
But some of the arguments I felt kind of self-defeating, and at a lot of points, like here's the ultimate reality of it, right?
Here we go. Go
And
ahead.
this is
Wrap
what
it
I
up.
told Phil,
Uh-huh.
and I said to him, Phil, the sun will rise tomorrow. You will still hit the goal. You're still gonna make money. You're still Dark Side Phil. It doesn't matter. Dark Side Phil could be caught on tape slaughtering puppies.
Yes.
And he would still get people to donate.
Yes, that's
There's
true.
nothing that Phil could
That's true.
possibly do
Yes.
or be exposed as doing that would stop him from making money from retards online.
Yes.
Because he's
This is
There
just
are no
razzing.
quiet parts. There are no quiet parts. You know, the old
No.
adage, you said the quiet part out loud. There are no quiet parts.
This is
here.
just
Oh,
razzing.
wow.
This is razzing. I want to remind you, this is razzing in progress. Razzing. Razzing.
Razzing, yes.
possibly do or be exposed as doing that would stop him from making money from retards online because he's the best at it. So,
He is the best
no
at making
matter
money from
how much
retard.
Steve copes, no matter how much Steve, I
Oh,
have
yeah.
evidence. This guy is a bastard. It doesn't matter what evidence you have, Steve. It doesn't matter that you're seeking the truth because with Dark Side Phil,
Yeah.
the
Truth
lies
doesn't matter.
will
Come on.
always prevail, my friend.
The lies will always prevail.
This is him defending him. This is him defending him. It's like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Lies
Phil,
always win.
The lies will always prevail, my friend. The power of Phil's lies and darkness will always outshine your light of truth, Steve.
Yeah.
So you might think that you have all these detractors lining up behind you now and that you're gonna win. But Steve, I have bad news for you. Dark Side Phil outlasts them all.
It's scary.
Now you're facing the curse of King Phil.
Uh-oh.
Because you
Oh, boy.
snaked the house and allowed yourself to be subverted by the
1 minute left.
detractors, Steve. We didn't set Phil up. It was a cream puff interview, and this bastard went rogue, went into business for himself. Shame on you, Steve. We'll see you on the show next Tuesday. Okay.
Appearance confirmed.
And this
I gotta hear it
bastard
again.
went rogue, went into business for himself. Shame on you, Steve. We'll see you on the show next Tuesday.
I gotta give it up. I have to give it up. I thought that the bit of the Kino Casino stuff, like, don't get me wrong, the regular show still late for me, but even when I was seeing their after shit, I was like, I still don't kind of get it. I think I get it now.
Yes.
I think I get it.
This
but
turned
is
me. Yeah.
glorious.
Yes, this turned me. And honestly, as Philip said, actions speak louder than words. So is one of those actions getting Truth Seeker Steven right back on your show, Philip? I'd like to ask, because it would seem like they're pretty cool with Steve actions if he's going right back on the show, huh?
Oh
By the
no,
way,
they're gonna hold him accountable.
we-
They're gonna hold him accountable for his
we-
actions.
I just heard him say that. He hasn't confirmed that I'm going back on. I don't know what's going on with that, but I hope that.
Yeah, you
like,
will.
they're
You heard
okay
it. He
with
will.
me.
They made
I
sure
hope
to
they're
say
okay
it.
with me,
He delivered
you know?
it in a beautiful way to say, "Yeah, fuck Steve. We'll see him next Tuesday." You know what I mean? Like, let's end it there. A few questions from people in chat, so let's give it to you. Skullmaster, Master of Skull says, "Broside Phil, you did a great job, but your only mistake was treating Phil as if he was anything other than a bad faith actor. You can't give him an inch, nothing. What do you think about that, Broside Phil?"
Yeah, so there's multiple aspects of it that I took that I, looking back on, like I said, I hated every word I fucking said. Looking back on it,
that's ridiculous.
He's right. He's right in the regard that I treated him like he was on equal playing field. Secondly, Triple P makes a valid point. I actually was too close to the subject matter. I didn't realize. I thought, like I said, and I think in a tweet, I thought it was going to be a 5 or 10 minute spot, and I was going to be out. That's what I thought.
Okay.
As the interview progressed,
honestly, me too.
As the interview progressed, or as the conversation progressed, any amount of prep work that I had done mentally in my head was gone. And that is it. That's a me problem. That's something that I fucked up. So my bad.
Yeah. Bro, I think most of us are like too close to it by virtue of being detractors. You have to know a certain amount of stuff about him. So when you're coming in, like from Steve's perspective, of someone who doesn't really know, isn't fully versed, there's always going to be gaps in his knowledge that Phil could take advantage of to lie and to obfuscate and be like, like with the calling the police and speaking to the police, he's conflating a death threat and identity theft. So the whole thing muddles because Steve doesn't have the experience of the full picture. And for us, we know all that stuff because we've been along with it. So I don't know if I could have the restraint if it was me. So
that's and I just want to say this too. People criticizing you, Broside Phil. I hope everyone understands this. Criticism is very easy compared to doing the actual thing. So no matter how well people can put together criticisms about what you did, you still did the thing. So you're above any people fucking criticizing you. You know what I mean? So don't forget about that, man. You did a fucking good job. You know, with the task you were given, right? That's a fucking out of nowhere, trying to bring up facts and not get heated, which it's going to be hard not to get heated. You know what I'm saying? When someone's lying right to your fucking face, you know what I mean? But anyways, it's tough. But big ups to Jefferson Exotic, who says, Phil is a mature adult with a business degree. Can we move on positively and get this momentum going? Sound good?
Sounds good.
Beetlejuice 3 says, Meerkat, you're mean. You've seen a zillion interviews. You are mean, Beercat. Any thoughts, Meerkat? Are you mean? Are you mean?
I am. But I'm just saying what I feel about it. What's the problem there that is... there's so many interviews with DSP. I don't get the point of the
you've seen a zillion interviews, I guess. Oh, you've seen so many interviews with DSP. There you go. That's what it is. You said earlier.
Yeah, I mean they exist.
Ira says Steve started throwing
like 5 of them in there.
this is good. Ira says Steve started throwing snowballs and ended with batteries, Philly style.
That's good analogy.
Big Ped Lord of Dirt says, big ups. That being said, big ups other Steve and BSP. I call him BSP. Great interview, Steve. I was happy to watch the piggy squirm at the bank leaks. Question of the day is, how much money would Phil ask for to do the polygraph? Now, if I remember correctly, there was no number amount ever decided on, right, Steve? Vin?
Yes, but we've had. I haven't vetted the people or verified they have the funds available, but to the best of my knowledge and recollection right now, there's 3 people that have come forward with a $5,000 offer, 3 separate people, which would mean, but all 3 of them basically said he has to pass it. So he could get $15K to pass it, and the general feeling is if he fails it, the money goes to charity. If he passes it, he gets it. And Phil's position is no, he should get the money if pass or fail. Yeah,
obviously.
So give me $15,000 to fail a lie detector test so everybody will know I'm lying. Because his thing is like, it's got to benefit me either way.
Yes, clearly. Big ups to Bikes, who says, I scammed my dad for a grill. Yes, Philip did say he scammed his dad for a grill at a barbecue in the past. Chio says, big ups. That being said, BSP and Steven had a lot of fun watching the interview. Much respect for going hard on Phil. Shame his head is so far up his own head that he can't accept proof of his lies from anyone. Yeah, big ups, Chio, and that is true, unfortunately. Joe Dub says, Phil would say that detractors would find something else, but that would be too hard to do if he actually just told the truth. And yeah, Philip likes to use that excuse of they'll always find the next thing. They always find the next thing, but there doesn't always have to be the next thing if you don't lie 1,000 times. Yeah,
He needs the next thing. It's his
Good
fault.
point. Good point. Papa Polecat says, just giving my good friends some contributions. Big ups. Interview was great. BSP was thrown into the Super Bowl and handled it as well as anyone would hope to. Hugs and kisses from Papa Polecat. Big ups, Papa Polecat.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
The Snort Fort report says if Phil's mouth is moving, he is lying. The lying never stops, and the baking also never stops. Big ups, Snort Fort report. Nate Rivard says Dev Phil's advocate would it be possible for the investigation report to only have the lead investigator listed and not this female officer under him? To Broside Phil, what do you think about that?
She's been listed. I have the narrative. So this is what's great. He thinks he's got me on this point of, I have this thing that I spoke to this woman. I never spoke to a man. I'm not revealing the second part of this, but he's correct in the aspect that I looked at the detective. That is who is typically the larger force in an investigation that you would talk with as a victim. You'll talk with the initial officer, sure, but eventually a detective would contact you in a felony investigation. My jurisdiction would be called criminal threat. I would then reach out to them, and then that is who would primarily I would work with, or the responding party or reporting party would work with. So I incorrectly assumed that this dumbass wrote down the detective's name. Given that he didn't, and he is so reliant on paperwork, he only has the fucking card or the initial call sheet or whatever it is from the officer, who was a female. I talked to the detective. He talked to the initial officer. Completely has forgotten he spoke with Detective Chris Edwards. Completely forgot it. But he did. And I can prove it. So yeah, he did talk to a woman. It's true, but that does not invalidate that he also was involved with, or that the investigation involved the detective that I spoke with.
There you go. Mickey Thor says Ashton is maintaining plausible deniability while with Phil while pimping him out for the lulz. And yeah, that's what's going to be funny is when, let's say Steve goes on Kino Casino and then DSP's on Kino Casino, then they bring Steven in out of nowhere. So we just are literally watching Kino Casino LOLCOW live show. But Phil didn't get $50,000 for it. He's doing it for free. That's definitely going to happen, by the way. I guarantee it. Beetlejuice 3 says, we have the Grill Phil segment. Can this segment be called the Third Degree Burns with Steve? Okay, well, not bad. Zitro says, bank leaks are old hat. Let's talk about Street Fighter 2. Hell yeah. Splody Jesus says, I'm starting to think Triple P is a snake. Yeah, you think? I'm not sure. And Joe Dub says, Hulk Hogan versus DSP at BM2. Who tells the truth first? Okay, my friends. Any last final question, though? Mirka, I'll give you a chance. Any question you want to ask before we get out of here today?
Let's have a look at Phil's sad boy tweet in the middle of the night.
Yes. Good idea.
Like a divorced woman tweet. Yes.
Okay, so in the middle of the night,
baby.
I thought I was having a kind of a rough night. I saw that tweet and I went, never mind. It was worth it.
So first we got this one, which is straight from Facebook with the glitter. The darkest night is often the bridge to the brightest tomorrow. Good night.
Live, laugh, love. Sort of
No interview has gotten that before. The biggest of ups to Steve. This was unheard of. You fucking killed it.
And you only find that if you search like positive vibes or something, or like positive,
yeah,
like self-help shit or something. I don't know, somebody found the search term. It's so gay.
The darkest night is often the bridge to the brightest tomorrow. Good night. Then fun doesn't stop there though, because let me tell you, we got another one. That was the next day. And it says, well, I didn't see today going this way, but here we go. Valentine's Day bummer.
You sounded like you were channeling your inner soft-spoken Gundam there. All just
So there we go. That was the two emo boy Philip, who, remember, he still has a wife who theoretically they're getting along well. So Valentine's Day still could be very romantic for him. I mean, your life doesn't have to revolve around the internet, Philip. You know, Valentine's Day, you could do fun stuff with your wife.
But
you
he
know,
did do anything. He did text last night.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, what? I don't understand. Like, if I couldn't go do I didn't even do a show last night. I just wouldn't do that. Like, that's time with my family. It's time with my wife. You know, my wife's got three Valentines. Me and my two sons. So we went out and had a good time. And he's playing like a game and letting his wife just sit by herself in that house. Like, it's sad. It's really sad.
Yep. That is really
He only
sad.
has one day off a week. Remember
Honestly. Okay, any final question before we get out of here? Steve of the Dead, anything you want to ask the two boys here?
I just wanted to say thank you for mentioning Jasper at the end. I know he dodged the question quite quickly, but I appreciate that somebody's still holding his feet to the fire. And his response made me think, you do know that you're in the wrong here then.
What are you talking about? Sam, any final questions, Sam?
No. Let's wrap this up. I got to get out of here.
Okay. You gotta go.
Big ups to the both of you for that.
Yes, big ups.
Line.
Yeah, we got to go too. I got a hockey game to win here in a second. Here we are 1-0, by the way. The team I'm coaching, we got to get 2-0 here tonight. But Broside Phil,
I have to go do some show prep for tonight. So if any of you evil detractors have some funny clips or videos, feel free to DM me on Twitter. It's at Stephen Cambion. Otherwise, I'll be live tonight at Truth Seeker Show on YouTube, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, there we go. There is Truth Seeker Show link. Please go get to that, and I'll give you Broside Phil's as well. Broside Phil, anything final messages here for the beautiful people out there?
The only thing I have, I can't really plug anything because I don't have it scheduled out. I may do an evening stream tonight, or I may do a stream tomorrow. Not sure yet, but as soon as I do know something, I'll put it out.
Big ups. I will be doing tonight the call-in show again. We're going to do something that Steve's familiar with, paranormal style shit. And I don't believe any paranormal style shit, so I look forward to hearing your stories that I will shit on since I don't believe in them.
Yes.
Okay. We'll see you tonight or whenever we see you next time. You're all legends. Bye.
Bye.
Burger.
Bye.
This one goes out to the one and only, the big cat, the fat cat. Big ups. I first saw you in Burger King. You took 2 seats 'cause that ass is way too big. Had a boyfriend, I realized, but you told him lies with your raccoon eyes. The DoorDash is here. Wipe away your tears. Got you extra fries, and they taste just right. Have no fear, there's no trolls here. Kevin made you cry with those raccoon eyes. Raccoon eyes. Raccoon eyes. Kevin made you cry with those raccoon eyes. Take you power walking on the beach, feasting on some sushi like you were the queen. Let me run some errands while you sleep. I can watch you play Skyrim all day this week. Have no fear, there's no trolls here. Kevin made you cry with those raccoon eyes. Raccoon eyes. Raccoon eyes. Kevin made you cry with those raccoon eyes.
In reality, like it's
tell you guys, every day when I wake up, that's the best day of my life. I feel like this next day is awesome. I have a beautiful wife who I love so much. She loves me, and a family, Jasper, and you know, the things we get to do together. You know, I definitely want more time with them and more family time, but I absolutely love my life today compared to how it used to be. Seriously. All those years back then, you'd be like, it's a whirlwind of crap. It was me. And by the way, I've told you guys about my past. I used to drink way too much. I would be drinking constantly, all the time, because I was so stressed out. Honestly, when I started with this whole thing, I was depressed many years ago, a decade ago. I didn't like my life or anything. And basically, liquor was the way to kind of get through that. It was, I hate my life. I hate who I am. So let me just drink it all away and just keep pumping out fucking YouTube videos. I don't have to do that shit anymore. Like, I'm happy with who I am. I actually don't think clicking like on a live stream helps at all. So it really doesn't matter if this stream gets 100 likes or 2. I don't think it affects it. All right, John, so what do you do when you don't win?
Fucking try your best to start over. You become an honest person and...
You cheat!
Oh, okay.
You fucking cheat!
That's where I went wrong all those years.
That's right. At first, you don't succeed, you use it.